Chapter 151. Pew Hut. Only 7 more nights to sleep until my birthday, meow. KQ have croon. Big brother, me too. Pip pip, me as well. It was natural since they all shared the same birthday. The animals, who had received their birthdays from Sejun, regained their former vitality. No, in fact, they seemed even more energetic than before. It seemed like everything was resolved, but something was strange. No one was preparing for the birthday. Did you guys prepare any gifts? What gift are you talking about, meow? Theo looked at Sejun, puzzled by his question. Kroong. I'm ready to receive gifts. Kyungi patted his cute belly. Pip pip, why do we need to prepare gifts? The golden bat was also equally baffled. As expected, the animals were only thinking about receiving gifts, not giving any. Think about it. If all of you only think about receiving gifts, from whom will the vice chairman receive a gift? Sejun tried to point out that if everyone expected to receive gifts, then no one would actually get any. However, of course Chairman Park will meow. Huh. Kroong kroong. Of course, Kyungi will get a gift from Dad. Pip pip, Sejun will give me my gift. The animals all had a plan to receive gifts from Sejun. Then what about my gift? I will massage Chairman Park's sour face, meow. Kroong. Kyungi will protect Daddy. Pip pip, I will bring things that Sejun needs. Sejun realized he had already received a lot from the animals as gifts. However, it still feels a bit unfair. In the end, it meant Sejun had to prepare gifts for all the animals. Although it could be settled with grilled fish, churu, honey and rice cakes, fruit juice, carrots, grass. And who said I have a sour face? Whack! Sejun grabbed and pulled the cheek of Theo, who had spoken rudely, as punishment. Meow, what are you doing, meow? Theo struggled to get out of Sejun's grasp. However, oh, this is healing. Sejun was addicted to the softness of Theo's cheeks and couldn't let go. While Sejun was holding Theo's cheeks, the tower's administrator says to expect a gift from her, as she is preparing one for you. Really? Thank you, but when is Aileen's birthday? Sejun, who thought he would not receive a single birthday gift, was delighted by Aileen's words and asked about Aileen's birthday. The tower's administrator says her birthday is on May 5th. Oh, Children's Day. The tower's administrator is angry, saying she is not a child. The tower's administrator shouts that she can also get married. Ah, Aileen, I didn't mean you're a child, but in Korea where I live, May 5th is a day celebrated for children. The tower's administrator asks with anticipation whether she will receive a present if she's a child. Didn't you just get mad saying you're not a child? Either way, it won't work for you. If you're over 13 years old, you're not a child and can't receive a gift. Sejun flatly denied. The tower's administrator is disappointed, asking why are you being so stingy about age? Is that stingy? And if people up to your age are treated as children, then everyone living on Earth is a child. While Sejun was talking with Aileen, it's a waste, meow, I'm not a child, meow. Kroong. Kyungi is not 13 yet, so he is a child. Kyungi can receive gifts on Children's Day. Pip pip, I can get one too. The animals were eavesdropping on Sejun's conversation and calculating if they could receive gifts on Children's Day. Anyway, thank you. It seems that the only one preparing a birthday gift for me is Aileen. Then, Aileen fell silent again at Sejun's words. Once the birthday talk was settled, are you growing well? Sejun went to the walnut field. Just yesterday, Sejun had successfully planted 3 walnuts. The first walnut planted had already spread its leaves wide open. And the sapling of the last walnut planted yesterday was just breaking through the soil, shyly showing its head. The rapid growth of the walnut was thanks to the failed experience of planting the elixir-grade cherry tomatoes. When he first planted the walnut, thunk, Sejun infused the ground with magic power while digging with Myler's hoe. He had realized that infusing the ground with magic power helped the crops when he planted the elixir-grade cherry tomatoes. So he infused the ground with magic power when planting walnuts. You have planted the walnut of training in the ground, infused with magic power. You have achieved the achievement of successfully planting crops in the ground, infused with magic power. Your job experience greatly increases. Sowing LV6 evolves into magic sowing LV6. Due to the effect of magic sowing LV6, the chance of the walnut of training taking root increases. Due to the effect of magic sowing LV6, the growth speed of the walnut of training increases for 24 hours. As a result, the sowing skill evolved into magic sowing, creating a miracle where sprouts emerged just a day after planting the walnuts. Of course, magic sowing was applicable to other crops as well, so the overall cultivation period of crops grown on Sejun's farm significantly decreased. And that meant an increase in crop yield during the same period. So we must sell crops even more diligently. Isn't that right, Vice Chairman Theo? Meow, why meow? Before he knew it, Sejun had put a bag on Theo's back and lifted Theo off his lap, placing him on the floor. And just like that, Theo, who was planning to relax and eat until his birthday, had to go down the tower once again. Around 8 o'clock last night, the U.S. Navy fired missiles at the Mashaho in the sea, sinking it. The Mashaho was a grain transport ship that departed from Lagos, Nigeria. Currently, every country was on high alert. They were blocking the entry of all ships departing from Nigeria, and if a ship that entered their waters lost contact, they preemptively fired missiles. The reason countries responded so aggressively was because they saw daily what kind of damage Brazil was suffering due to its delayed response. A few days ago, a drifting ship approached the harbor near Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The harbor control tower sent a security team to the grain transport ship that was not responding to radio communications, but the security team reported that there were a tremendous number of locusts on the ship and then lost contact. Realizing the situation was not normal, the control tower immediately requested military assistance, but there was a delay and the ship got closer to Brazil. Flap, flap. Hundreds of thousands of starving locusts flew into Brazil. Since then, every day in Brazil was like a war. For the first 2 days, the damage was minimal compared to what was feared. Occasionally 1 or 2 were spotted, but it was manageable for the police. However, on the 3rd day, flap, flap, the blue sky was covered with blue locusts. Their numbers were over 1 billion. Brazil, with its abundant greenery, was an ideal breeding ground for these locusts. They multiplied exponentially without any hindrance. Overnight, a city was taken over by the locusts. The number of deaths, with no bodies to be found, was in the hundreds of thousands. It was a catastrophe. Since then, Brazil had mobilized its army to fight against the locusts, but to little effect. Because other countries were receiving this information about Brazil daily, they strengthened their guard against all ships approaching them from the sea. Land moving. Thud. After sending Theo down, Sejun spent the entire afternoon planting corn with Myler's hoe. Although the land moving and magic sowing skills consumed a lot of magic power, Sejun's talent, enhanced magic circuit, allowed him to recover magic power quickly, making it manageable. And Krung. Flap, flap. Kyungi was lying on the bed made by Sejun, rolling around and singing with the golden bat while waiting for his stomach to empty. At that moment, Sejun, we've arrived. Giant silver wolves came running. Good job. How is the 83rd floor of the tower? Fortunately, we found a farm, and there are no dangerous monsters nearby. Hegel is guarding it now. Elka, who had returned from scouting the 83rd floor of the tower at Sejun's request, answered. Sejun had learned from the experience of going to the 77th floor using a land deed document, and had Elka scout the 83rd floor before using the land deed document. Really, what's on the farm? Well, you will be disappointed. Ah. Elka hesitated and carefully brought out a crop with his front paw, then dropped it with a painful expression. Thud. The crop was covered with thorns like a hedgehog. Huh. As I thought you would be disappointed. It is inedible. Elka spoke as if he had expected Sejun's reaction. However, he looked regretful for not being able to please Sejun. No, it's edible. This is a chestnut. What chestnut? Yes, just a moment. Sejun paused, examining the thorns of the chestnut and carefully flicking them with his finger. Ping! A metallic sound was heard. Growing in the tower made it extraordinary, a chestnut with steel thorns. Given that even Elka was in pain when pricked, they couldn't be ordinary thorns. Wow, this is dangerous. If he had carelessly stepped on it, his foot would have been full of holes. Moreover, the thorns might even be poisonous. Kyungi, help me. Sejun eventually called Kyungi, the all-rounder handyman. Kroong kroong. Did you call? Kyungi will help Daddy. Upon Sejun's call, Kyungi, carrying the golden bat on his back, rushed over eagerly. Peel this for me. Sejun carefully held one of the chestnut and handed it to Kyungi. Kroong. Kyungi, who received the chestnut, easily peeled it as if peeling an orange. Although there were steel thorns, they were not strong enough to penetrate Kyungi's thick skin. Ping ping. Rather, the thorns of the chestnut broke as if they were crushed by Kyungi's strength. And then, kroong kroong. Here it is, but what is this? He asked while looking at the two large chestnuts that came out. This is called a chestnut. Try eating it. Swoosh swoosh. Sejun sliced the chestnut with his dagger and put it in Kyungi's mouth. Chew chew. Kyungi, chewing the chestnut, widened his eyes in surprise. Kroong kroong. This is interesting. It's my first time tasting it, but it's delicious. Kyungi waved its arms excitedly. Chew. It's tasty, right? In the meantime, Sejun ate a chestnut while speaking. Kyungi, do you want to go pick chestnuts? Kroong. Yes. Kyungi, who never refused food, answered energetically. Good, then stay in the void storage for a while. Sejun rarely used it and often forgot about it, but when Kyungi was in the void storage, he could travel with Sejun. Kroong. Kyungi, along with the golden bat, entered the void storage. And then, guys, I will go to the 83rd floor of the tower for a while. This time, he informed the rabbits and mushroom ants in advance that he would go elsewhere, so they wouldn't worry. Aileen, I will go to the 83rd floor of the tower for a while. Lastly, he informed Aileen that he would be away. The tower administrator says to bring a lot of delicious food when you come back. Got it, I'll bring back a lot. Swish. Sejun answered, and then unfolded the land deed document of the 83rd floor farm. The summoning function for the initial engraving of the land deed for the 83rd floor farm has been activated. This time, Sejun safely teleported to the 83rd floor. Chapter 152. Meow meow meow. In a week is my birthday, meow. As Theo was going down to the 40th floor of the tower, he met the interns who were also going down for trading cherry tomatoes and supplying sturdy blade green onions. He boasted about his birthday, which he had received from Sejun, while moving together with them. Birthday. That's right, meow. If you have a birthday, you can get a gift from Chairman Park, meow. Originally, birthdays were events where you'd receive best wishes from those around you. But in the tower, birthdays had become a day to receive gifts from Sejun. Congratulations, Vice Chairman Theo. Congratulations. Thank you, meow. As Theo was being congratulated by the interns. Theo's whiskers began to tremble. This feels ominous, meow. It was clear that something had happened to Chairman Park. As expected, Chairman Park can't manage without me, meow. He can't take care of his knees like this. Should we run? An intern, now accustomed to such situations, asked. That's right, meow. Full speed ahead, meow. All right. Theo and the intern started running quickly. You have arrived at the 83rd floor farm. You have moved from the top floor, 99th floor, to the 83rd floor. You have descended 16 floors. Due to the effect of title, retrogressor, all stats increase by 16. The title was not displayed in the status window. Thus, he had forgotten about it. The title retrogressor seemed to have the effect of increasing stats as you go down the floors. That's good, but are these all chestnuts? Sejun, after checking the message, looked around in amazement. There were over 1,000 chestnut trees with chestnuts hanging from them. Dragon Tooth Warrior Helmet Summon. Sejun first summoned the bone helmet and wore it on his head. One couldn't be too careful. If he wasn't lucky, a falling chestnut might leave a hole in his head. Full body armor transformation. Clank. Of course, Sejun, who valued safety, also protected the rest of his body as well. An increase in all stats by 16 didn't mean he could let his guard down. Getting pricked by steel thorns would still result in an immediate critical hit. As Sejun wore his bone armor. Clink. Guys, come out. Sejun called out Kyungi and the golden bat from the void storage. However, yes. Flap flap. Only the golden bat came out. Where Kyungi? Big brother Kyungi is sleeping. Should I wake him up? Kurung. When Sejun sneaked a peek inside, he saw Kyungi, with his stomach bulging out, sleeping, and empty boxes scattered beside him. He seemed to have eaten the crops in the storage and fallen asleep. No need. Can you call the black wolves around the farm? Yes. Sejun sent the golden bat and approached the nearest chestnut tree. And then, yap, he knocked down a nearby chestnut with Myler's hoe. Heh. First, I'll roast them over the fire to make roasted chestnuts to eat. With the rest, I'll make chestnut macchiali that Kaiser will like and candied chestnuts simmered in honey. As Sejun was thinking about the dishes to make with chestnuts and picking chestnuts. Oh, that one is bigger. A chestnut that was about 1.5 times bigger than a regular chestnut caught his eye. It's a big catch. Sejun swung his hoe towards the larger chestnut right away. Then, thud, quiek, hug. An odd sound was heard as the chestnut fell. Did I hear it wrong? Thwack. Sejun knocked down another chestnut with his hoe. Tap, quiek, hug. This time he clearly heard it. What is it? Feeling something strange, Sejun gently poked the chestnut that made the initial sound with his hoe. Quiek quiek. The chestnut started making a strange sound and began to move. Then, a name appeared above it. Chestnut Hedgehog Godery. A hedgehog. It was not a chestnut, but a hedgehog disguised as a chestnut. It looks cute, but why is its name Godery 1? While Sejun was busy looking at Godery. Thump thump. Chestnuts began hitting Sejun on the head. Thud thud thud. Chestnuts from the chestnut tree started launching rolling attacks towards Sejun and began falling down. About half of the chestnuts hanging on the chestnut tree were actually hedgehogs. And quiek quiek. Godery was commanding the hedgehogs. Godery was the leader of the chestnut hedgehogs. Thud thud. The hedgehog's quills got stuck in the bone armor. Then, a quest has been generated. Quest: defeat the hedgehogs hiding in the farm, disguised as chestnuts, or regain land rights through peaceful agreement. Reward: recognition as the rightful owner of the land deed. A quest message appeared in front of Sejun. You said there were no monsters. Sejun hurriedly ran, avoiding the hedgehogs. The rolling attack of the chestnut hedgehogs was not strong enough to penetrate the bone armor, but there were too many of them. So Sejun ran frantically with dozens of hedgehogs stuck with their quills in his bone armor. However, this place was in the middle of the farm. Sejun was quickly surrounded by over 10,000 hedgehogs. Hey guys, let's resolve this with a peaceful conversation. Sejun, who was surrounded, requested a peaceful conversation with the hedgehogs. However, quiek. The hedgehogs were very aggressive. Showing their teeth, they curled into balls, readying for another attack. They seemed to have no intention of talking. Do I have to fight? Considering his bone armor could block enemy attacks, and he had the throw thunder and land moving skills, he thought he could handle a fight. Let's give it a try. Just as Sejun was about to use his skill, holding the Myler's hoe. Kueng. Kyungi, who had slept well, got up, yawning. And then, Krung. Wow, it's a chestnut. Kyungi came out of the void storage and picked up a hedgehog disguised as a chestnut. Then, Quissy. The hedgehog suddenly relaxed its body and started acting cute towards Kyungi. It was a completely different cry and posture from when they were dealing with Sejun. The aggressive attitude from earlier was gone, and they showed a posture of surrender by exposing their belly. Krung. It's not a chestnut. Quissy. When Kyungi was disappointed that it was not a chestnut, the hedgehogs hurriedly climbed up the chestnut tree and dropped the chestnuts. Thump. Krung. Kyungi eagerly picked up the chestnuts dropped by the hedgehogs and took out the chestnuts from inside. Watching this, Sejun was very displeased. They were ignoring him because he was weak. Even if this is a tower dominated by the law of the jungle, this is too much. You're all acting so different now. Are you discriminating against me? Quiek. The hedgehogs stiffened their bodies at Sejun's words. It was a reaction as if asking how a weakling could act so boldly. Oh ho, you're looking down on me now, aren't you, Kyungi? Sejun, infuriated by the hedgehog's attitude, called Kyungi. Krung. Did you call me? Here are the chestnuts. Kyungi, who approached at Sejun's call, handed him the chestnuts. Quissy. The hedgehogs were confused. They couldn't understand why the strong being was offering food to the weak one. Then, who said you could eat from the storage? This is punishment, boop, bub. Kyuhehe. Sejun's raspberry blowing made Kyungi to laugh uncontrollably, and the hedgehogs were speechless with shock. And then, flop. Eventually, the leader of the hedgehogs, Goduri, came forward and lay down, showing his belly. It was a sign of surrender. Now they understood the hierarchy. Quissy. Following their leader, the hedgehogs lay down, showing their bellies. Their attitude towards Sejun changed in an instant. The chestnut hedgehogs completely surrendered and will follow your decisions. You have completed the quest. As a reward for completing the quest, you are recognized as the rightful owner of the land deed. Land deed skill, Farm Information LV, Max is activated. At the same time, the quest was completed. Let's see. Sejun checked the land deed. 83rd floor farm land deed. Right arrow, this land deed proves ownership of the farm on the 83rd floor of the tower. Right arrow owner, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Right arrow grade, B+. Right arrow skill, Farm Information LV, Max. Farm Information LV, Max. Right arrow size, 33,000 square meters. Right arrow crops, 1043 chestnut trees. Right arrow worker, 1-person landowner. Right arrow special note. Thanks to the chestnut hedgehogs disguised as chestnuts and protecting the chestnut trees are in good condition. There are 10,265 chestnut hedgehogs available as workers. Oh, they were protecting the chestnut trees. Thinking about it, if someone unknowingly entered this place like him and faced the rolling attack of the hedgehogs, they'd be too frightened to ever return. Then, Quissy. Please don't drive us out. We have nowhere to go. Goduri clung to Sejun's foot and pleaded. Why would I drive you out? But what do you eat? Before negotiating wages, Sejun tried to gather information about the hedgehogs. Quissy. Are you hungry? Guys, bring some food. Quissy. At Goduri's command, the hedgehogs hurriedly moved somewhere. Krung. If I gather a lot, Dad said he'll make something delicious later. In the meantime, Kyungi diligently peeled the chestnuts and put them in his snack pocket. Theo arrived at the 40th floor camp. Meow, Chairman Park is safe now, meow. Theo sighed in relief as the danger signal of Sejun's knee tracker decreased. And then, I'm back, meow. He shouted towards the hunters, announcing his arrival. Oh, it's Theo. Hunters who were waiting for cherry tomatoes hurriedly picked up their hunter phones and called the hunters who had gone out for hunting as soon as Theo arrived. Meanwhile, the interns sold the magical cherry tomatoes. I'll take 100. That will be 150 tower coins. In the case of cherry tomatoes, the demand and supply had reached a balance, and they were being traded at a stable price of 1.5 tower coins. Sold out. So when the interns had sold all 10,000 cherry tomatoes, we will start the auction now, meow. Theo started the auction. Please start by selling the exploding stamina corn first. Yes, we've got the money ready. Thanks to the hunters who wanted to buy the exploding stamina corn as soon as possible, the area around the auction brightened up. After Theo's last auction, it was a hot topic among the hunters that Ethan, the guild master of the Royal Knight Guild, was bald, but he quickly cured his baldness with the exploding stamina corn he acquired from the tower. And upon hearing that news, bald hunters risked their lives to climb up to the 40th floor of the tower. The hair loss treatment had elevated the standards of the Earth hunters by a significant margin. However, meow, Theo found the enthusiasm of the hunters too dazzling. Theo, wear these. A hunter handed over a pair of sunglasses to Theo, who was struggling with all the glare. Kayak, my wish came true. A female hunter, who had been waiting for an opportunity to put sunglasses on Theo, cheered at his adorable look with the glasses on. Oh, now my eyes aren't dazzled anymore, meow. Then I will start selling the exploding stamina corn first, meow. Theo, wearing the sunglasses, happily resumed the auction. I will sell a total of 10 pieces, one at a time, meow. Last time he brought a larger quantity to see the response. Most of the remaining explosive stamina corn had been planted by Sejun in the fields, so the available quantity was limited. So Theo chose a strategy of selling them slowly, in small amounts, to maintain a high price. 5,500 tower coins. Sold out, meow. Thanks to that, he was able to sell the exploding stamina corn at a higher price than last time. Pewhut, I am indeed smart, meow. Thus Theo, intoxicated with his own cleverness, sold all the remaining crops, earned a lot of tower coins, and went up to the higher floors. Of course, he was headed towards Sejun's knee location. However, why are you here again? Obviously, I came to draw again, meow. Since Sejun's knee was safe, he decided to stop by the lost and found storage on the 75th floor and do just one round of the draw before leaving. 1. Gotery is a Korean fishing card game. Mass release, enjoy. Chapter 153. You must be really hungry, right? Quisi quisi. Here it is. I've brought the most delicious head especially for you. Around the time when Kyungi was about to fill his snack bag with chestnuts, Gotery proudly presented a snake's head, the size of a fist, to Sejun. It seemed freshly killed as blood dripped from it. Ah, sorry, I forgot I had eaten a little while ago. Quisi quisi. Oh, then please take it and eat it when you are hungry. Gotery pushed the snake's head towards Sejun. No, that's never going to happen. Sejun exclaimed, stepping back. Quisi. Could it be you're not pleased with our hospitality? Gotery asked, looking anxious. Ah, no, it's not that. Just as Sejun struggled to articulate himself. Sir Sejun, I am sorry. Hegel and the Black Wolf tribe's wolves rushed over and apologized, bowing down. They had hurried back after hearing from the Golden Bat that Sejun was looking for them after finishing their conversation with the boss at the 83rd floor waypoint. Hegel's eyes widened at the sight of the hedgehog surrounding Sejun. There were monsters. Sir Sejun, please, let me take full responsibility for this. Hegel was restless because he didn't know there was a monster hiding. He had no excuses. He had to take responsibility for his mistake, even if it cost his life. It's okay, but be more careful next time. Honestly, Sejun was just relieved they were hedgehogs. It could have ended much worse had they been other monsters. Yes, thank you for your forgiveness. I will take Sir Sejun's words to heart. All right, but Hegel, you look very hungry. Running all the way here must have made you hungry, right? Very, very hungry, right? Here, eat this. Sejun pointed at the snake head, insisting Hegel should be hungry. Wasser Sejun. Sejun was desperately trying to get rid of the snake's head. He's giving this delicious treat to someone like me who made a mistake. Hegel was deeply moved that day. All right, let's get to work. Sejun, who handed the snake's head to Hegel, quickly started harvesting chestnuts. Kwesi. The hedgehogs climbed the trees and dropped the chestnut burrs, which Kyungi and Sejun would then peel to extract the chestnuts. Krung. While Kyungi easily cracked the chestnut burrs brought by the hedgehogs by hand while sitting on the ground. Land moving. Sejun used a skill to put 100 chestnut burrs underground at once, a somewhat cumbersome method, but he had no other choice. He couldn't crack them by hand. By the time they had cleaned about half of the chestnut tree of its burrs. Gurgle. Krung. Daddy, I'm hungry. Kyungi's stomach growled. It was dinner time. Kwesi. We will catch dinner for Master Kyungi. Upon hearing Kyungi's proclamation of hunger, Godori reacted as if it was a serious situation, getting ready to set out. No, you guys have worked hard too. Let's eat something different today. Kwesi. No, but we really. Godori looked uneasy. No, just stay put, otherwise I'll kick you out of the farm. Sejun spoke firmly, even threatening the hedgehogs. He really didn't want the snake's head. Kwesi. We will stay put. The hedgehogs froze at Sejun's words. No, guys, that's not what he meant. Sejun explained that he meant they didn't need to go hunt for dinner and then started preparing dinner. Dinner consisted of chestnut porridge and roasted chestnuts made from the chestnuts they harvested that day. Swish, swish, swish. Sejun went to the stream near the farm and diligently washed the chestnuts. They had harvested about 100,000 chestnuts today, and he washed 5,000 of them. All right, wash them thoroughly. Kwesi. Of course, the hedgehogs helped. Since there were many hedgehogs, washing 5,000 chestnuts was quick even if each hedgehog washed only one. After washing the chestnuts, Sejun started boiling 3,000 of them in a pot. And then, you guys make a cut in the chestnuts. Yes. Yes, leave it to us. He instructed the golden bat and the wolves to make cuts into the remaining 2,000 chestnuts for roasting. This would make peeling them easier later on. Swoosh. Next, Sejun then poured rice flour into the pot, added water, and continuously stirred while boiling. Then, Krung. Is there nothing for Kyungi to do? Kyungi, who usually just slept in the back, asked today if there was any work to do. Of course there is, just keep stirring this. Sejun didn't miss the opportunity and tossed his work to Kyungi. Hegel, find out the way to Waypoint. I'll be going up to the 99th floor right after harvesting the chestnuts. Sejun utilized the brief free time to instruct Hegel to find the route to the waypoint, in advance for a swift return to the 99th floor. The return to the 99th floor was delayed, as the chestnut harvesting took more time than expected. Yes, I have already finished talking to the boss guarding the waypoint. The black mongoose, the boss guarding the waypoint, was preparing for a grand party with its subordinates upon hearing from Hegel that the great black dragon would be visiting the waypoint. I hope it's not a giant snake head. Sejun checked a chestnut to see if it was well cooked, pushing aside his ominous feeling. Swoosh. He sliced a chestnut in half with his dagger and tasted it soft inside. It's well cooked, guys, now peel these. Sejun instructed the resting golden bats and wolves to peel the boiled chestnuts. Kwesi. We will do it. Feeling left out, Godary stepped forward. How will you peel it? Ping. In response to Sejun's question, Godary plucked one of its steel spikes. And then, Quishishajash. Adopting a fencing in-guard posture, it stabbed towards the boiled chestnut. Quisi. How is it? Godary asked with a confident expression. I heard all the sounds you made with your mouth, you know. I told you to peel the chestnut, not to make a hole in it. Quisi. I'm sorry. No, you don't have to be sorry. While Sejun did reprimand Godary for not doing the job properly, he couldn't be too harsh. What if it gets annoyed and stabs me? Godary's stabbing attack was extraordinarily powerful. It might even pierce Sejun's bone armor. Just stay quiet, pick the chestnuts. Quisi. Yes. So the hedgehogs picked chestnuts again until dinner was ready. And then, let's eat dinner. Sejun and the animals feasted on roasted chestnuts and chestnut porridge until they were full and fell asleep. I doubt the box he took last time had anything valuable. Taru was confused seeing Theo confidently handing over 1,000 tower coins. Is he not the type to give up after failing once? Theo came to draw again after succeeding, but Taru thought of Theo as a persistent cat merchant. What are you waiting for? Take the money, meow. Theo urged Taru to take the money. Theo wanted to draw quickly and go to Sejun, or more precisely, Sejun's lap. Fine, remember, you can only take one item out. Thud. Taru opened the door to the lost and found storage. I know, meow, I'm going in, meow, 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 meow. Theo entered the lost and found storage humming to himself. The storage had a central corridor with 4 rooms on each side, totaling 8 rooms. This way, meow. Theo stretched out his front paw and followed the attraction pole. He ended up in the 3rd room on the left. Inside the room was a massive pile of miscellaneous items that had accumulated over time. Dust had accumulated on the pile of miscellaneous items, indicating how long they had been neglected. To find an item, he would have to sift through the dust. Originally, the attraction pull on his front paws was strongest here. However, Theo, who disliked getting dirty, had always avoided it. Looks like it's finally time to search here, meow. Theo started digging through the pile of miscellaneous items. There was one more attraction, hinting at another item in a different room, but it was weaker than the one here. After an hour of digging through the pile, I found it, meow. Theo, covered in dust, picked up a black stone piece that fit perfectly into his front paw. But what is this, meow? Theo examined the stone piece carefully. No matter how he looked at it, it was just an ordinary stone, but determining its significance wasn't his job. Aileen will appraise this, meow. And once it was appraised. Pew hut, an extension to my vice chairman's term, meow. Theo exited the lost and found storage triumphantly. You really intend to take that? Taru asked Theo, who came out of the lost and found storage holding just a piece of black stone, as it took him over an hour and he thought Theo might bring something significant. Yes, meow. Theo, however, replied too innocently while holding just a piece of stone. It was hard not to feel sympathetic. Taru felt more and more guilty. Last time it was a shabby box. This time it was a piece of stone that could be found everywhere on the roadside. If you wanted such a stone, you should have just searched the ground. Don't make me feel guilty for no reason. Then I'll be off, meow. All right. As Theo turned to leave, Taru barely resisted the urge to call him back and return his money. He took that piece of stone, so he probably won't come back, right? Taru felt a pang of sadness at the thought that Theo might not return. Bang! With a mix of emotions, Taru closed the storage room door. The next morning, Sejun woke up, feeling refreshed. It was natural since he slept atop the soft belly of Kyungi, who had enlarged to a size of 3 meters. Sejun carefully got off Kyungi's belly and prepared breakfast. He decided on honey suritiak TL, a type of rice cakes for the menu. He added a little water to the rice flour, sieved it through a fine strainer, steamed half of it, sprinkled honey in the middle, and then added the remaining rice flour and steamed it. It didn't take much effort. About 20 minutes later, as the rice cakes were nearly done. Sniff, sniff. Kroong. Is that the scent of honey surediok about to be done? Kyungi swiftly caught the aroma and woke up. After eating the honey surediok for breakfast, they resumed their chestnut harvesting again. Then, Sir Sejun, leave it to us now. We will handle everything. Hejul, showing off his skills at peeling chestnuts, spoke to Sejun, who was using his land-moving skill to extract chestnuts. The wolves had been practicing something in the corner since yesterday, and it seemed they were practicing peeling chestnuts. You worked hard, but I also need to practice, so let's just do it together. Yes. Sejun was practicing his land-moving skill while harvesting chestnuts. Thanks to that, he made some progress. Yesterday, he could extract chestnuts from about 100 chestnut burrs at once, but today he could do it from about 120. With the wolves joining in peeling the chestnuts, the harvest was completed faster than expected. Godari, please continue to take good care of the chestnut farm. Kwesi. Leave it to me, I'll give my life for it. Godari responded to Sejun's words with a grave expression. No, if it's too dangerous, you can run away. Just report to the 99th floor of the tower. Don't risk your life. Sejun instructed Godari and set off for the waypoint. Let's go. After about an hour's journey on the backs of the wolves, Sejun arrived at the waypoint. 83rd floor boss, Black Mongoose Mongu. Yip yip. The Black Mongoose Mongu, the boss of the 83rd floor, about 1 meter in size, and its subordinate black mongooses greeted Sejun with a bow. Just as I thought. As Sejun expected, behind the black mongooses, a giant snake head was being roasted for him. I'm not hungry, so don't leave any for me, eat it all. Before Mongu could offer the snake head, Sejun preemptively spoke. Yes, guys, let's go. Yip. At first, the black mongooses were confused by the command to eat the snake head, but as soon as the wolves started eating, they hurriedly began to feast as well. Kroong. Kyungi Yuka. Sejun stopped Kyungi, who was about to run after the wolves. And then, waypoint of the 83rd floor of the tower has been saved. Loading other floors saved waypoint. Saved waypoint 2. 99th floor. 77th floor. Sejun registered the waypoint. Now let's go. Kyungi and Golden Bat go into the void storage. As Sejun was about to move to the 99th floor through the waypoint. Theo is nearby. Sniff, sniff. Flap, flap. At Sejun's words, Kyungi and Golden Bat focused on the smell and sound. A moment later. Kroong. I smell Big Bro. I hear Big Bro's footsteps. Both sensed that Theo was nearby and looked at Sejun in amazement. Sejun felt the same. But how did I sense him? It seemed as if Sejun had developed an ability to detect Theo, just like Theo had a Sejun's lap detector. After waiting for about 30 minutes. Chairman Park, I'm here, meow. Theo, the crafty mogul, appeared and clung to Sejun's knee. Thanks to that, they could return to the 99th floor together. And then, Chairman Park, this isn't right, meow. As a vice chairman, I refuse to take a bath, meow. I refuse too. Splash. As soon as they arrived, Sejun headed straight for the fountain to take a bath. Chapter 154. Russell. Refreshing. Sejun, who had bathed Theo while taking a bath together, was shaking the water off his hair with a refreshing expression when, How dare you put me in water? I'm so mad, meow. Theo was furiously pouting about having been bathed. However, slurp. Even though he was pouting, Theo didn't move an inch from Sejun's lap and was busily grooming his body with his tongue. Come on, Vice Chairman Theo, why are you like that? Pad pad. Sejun stroked Theo's belly and body, trying to soothe his anger. Meow tilde purr. You think I'll be swayed by that, meow? I'm still really mad, meow. Rub my belly some more, meow. Theo, startled by the pleasant purring sound he inadvertently made, hurriedly feigned anger again, trying to get more petting from Sejun. Here. Yes, meow, rub it harder, meow, I'm still angry, meow. All right, Vice Chairman Theo, calm down. I'll decide whether to calm down based on how you do, meow. Sejun pretended to be deceived, even though he could tell Theo had already calmed down. After petting Theo for over an hour, seeing Chairman Park's sincerity, I'll forgive you, especially meow. And this is the item I got from a draw, meow. Theo, with a satisfied expression, proudly put his front paw into his bag as if doing a favor. Oh, really? As expected of Vice Chairman Theo, you're the best. Pew hut, Chairman Park, keep the praises coming, meow. Theo, with an attitude that he wouldn't remove his paw from the bag unless he received more praise, waited for Sejun's compliments. Go on, praise me more, meow. Drawing genius Theo Park, drawing genius Theo Park. Sejun clapped and made up a chant praising Theo. Pew hut, that's right, meow. I am the drawing genius Theo Park, meow. Theo, satisfied with Sejun's praise, took out his paw from his bag with a smug expression. Here, this is it, meow. Theo took out a small black stone piece. What's this? Sejun inadvertently showed a disappointed expression. Then, are you doubting me, the drawing genius, meow? Theo, enraged, tried to put the stone fragment back into his bag. No, how could I doubt Vice Chairman Theo? So what kind of stone is this? I don't know, meow, but surely something amazing will come out when Aileen appraises it, meow. Theo, although he didn't know himself, was very confident. Really? It seemed like just an ordinary stone, but it was something Theo had picked up. Sejun took the black stone piece and examined it. Black stone fragment. Grade C. The grade was C, even though it was just a stone fragment. This was the highest grade among the items Theo had brought for appraisal. Expectations naturally rose. Aileen, can you appraise this, please? The tower's administrator asks you to wait for a moment. With Aileen's response, the black stone piece in Sejun's hand disappeared. A moment later, the tower's administrator says that she must use this herself and is asking for it. Aileen will use it. What does that mean? The tower's administrator says the black stone Theo brought is a fragment of a great black dragon's dragon heart. What dragon heart? Surprised by Aileen's words, Sejun looked at Theo. Theo was sitting on Sejun's lap with a "I don't know anything, meow" expression. In other words, he was just spacing out. Theo, you amazing cat, where on earth do you find these things? Sejun didn't know why there was a black dragon's dragon heart in the tower, but Theo was bringing more and more amazing items as time went on. Pew hut, am I amazing or not, meow? Reading Sejun's expression, Theo, who had seized the opportunity, spoke in a haughty tone and laid down on Sejun's lap. His eyes were filled with anticipation, as if saying, pet me more, meow. Pad. If Aileen eats this, will it help heal your dragon heart? As Sejun petted Theo's body, he asked Aileen. The tower's administrator says that just having the dragon heart fragment near her resonates and stimulates her dragon heart, so there is no need to eat it. Really? Sejun was glad that she didn't have to eat the dragon heart fragment, even though he didn't mind giving it to her. The tower's administrator says that even if she doesn't eat it, you having the dragon heart fragment right now is dangerous. The tower's administrator says that its magic power might go berserk. I understand. Please keep it safe, Aileen. The tower's administrator says she will start training to grow her dragon heart talent to the next level using the dragon heart fragment. The tower's administrator says she may not be able to respond for a few days. Okay. The tower's administrator says she will definitely finish before your birthday. All right, just don't overexert yourself. Inside the administrator's area of the Black Tower. With this I can grow my dragon heart. Aileen was excited as she looked at the dragon heart fragment in her hand that emitted a dark blue glow. Aileen had been strengthening her talent, slightly soft dragon heart, with the honey jelly given by Sejun, but recently hit a limit. She hadn't told Sejun anything because she was worried Sejun might get concerned, but currently, she was only maintaining the condition of the dragon heart with honey jelly. Then, fortunately, Theo brought a fragment of the dragon heart. With this dragon heart fragment, she could stimulate her dragon heart using its resonating power, potentially advancing her talent to the next level. Heh, good job, Theo. Aileen decided to reward Theo separately later on in cast. Polymorph release. And she returned to her original form. From now on, she had to focus all her attention on the dragon heart, so it was more easier in her original form. This time, for sure, I will appear in front of Sejun with a bang. Aileen imagined herself appearing in front of Sejun in a polymorph state at the birthday party, and smiled happily. And then, hoo-woo. She took a deep breath and focused on the magic power of the dragon heart. Wulong. The dragon heart fragment in her hand, and Aileen's magic power began to resonate. The next day after Sejun returned from the 83rd floor of the tower, Sejun immediately started making roasted chestnuts and chestnut macchiali for the birthday party. He needed to hurry to have them ready by the birthday party. And while Sejun was preparing for the birthday party, Weeing, a poisonous honeybee came looking for Sejun, carrying a honey jelly. Did you come to give me honey jelly? Thank you. As Sejun opened his palm, Weeing, thud, the poisonous honeybee placed the honey jelly on Sejun's palm. You have acquired one poisonous honeybee's cherry tomato honey jelly. Your beekeeping LV 7 proficiency slightly increases. Beekeeping LV 7 proficiency has been filled and the level has increased. Oh, it had been a while since his beekeeping skill level had increased. Special job skill beekeeping LV 8. Able to keep bees when you own a beehive. The activity area of owned beehive bees significantly increases. The speed at which the queen bee lays eggs significantly increases. The honey collecting speed of the bees significantly increases. The honey collecting amount of the bees significantly increases. The probability of pollination significantly increases. You can produce honey jelly with special effects. The affinity with bees greatly increases. Bees that you do not raise also feel friendly towards you. Current owned beehives 7 poisonous honey beehives. When the beekeeping skill rose to level 8, information about a significant increase in affinity with bees was added. Even bees that I didn't raise also feel friendly towards me. Sejun hurriedly finished the remaining work and called Kyungi. Kroong, did Daddy call me? Kyungi, who was rolling around on the stone bed, ran over in response to Sejun's call. Yes, let's go east to meet poisonous honeybee friends. Kroong, poisonous honeybee friends. Yes. He needed to secure one more beehive, and if the skill description was correct, poisonous honey bees that were not affiliated with Sejun's beehive would not be hostile to Sejun, so it seemed that he could also ask those poisonous honey bees to collect honey. Kroong, Daddy, let's go. So Sejun rode on the enlarged Kyungi and moved east. Of course, Theo hanging on Sejun's knee and the golden bat hanging on Sejun's back naturally followed. Thud, thud, as Kyungi ran at full speed for about 30 minutes. Kroong, we have arrived. They quickly entered deep into the eastern region. Weeing, weeing. 2 poisonous bees patrolling the area approached to attack Sejun and the animals that entered their territory. However, rub, rub. When they got close to Sejun, the poisonous bees showed friendliness by rubbing their bodies against Sejun. As expected, they weren't hostile towards Sejun. Hey kids, do you want to try this? Sejun started promoting his honey to the poisonous bees. Kroong, Kyungi also wants honey too. As Sejun gave honey to the poisonous bees, Kyungi asked for honey as well. All right, Kyungi, let's eat honey too. Sejun took out a glass bottle and gave it to Kyungi. Chairman Park, I want churu too, meow. When Sejun took care of Kyungi, Theo asked for a churu. Everyone seemed to be hungry. Let's just eat here and go. Sejun decided to have a meal here and move on since it was already like this. The outing to capture poisonous bees turned into a picnic in the blink of an eye. Here, Golden Bat, eat this watermelon. Yes, thank you. Sejun handed a piece of watermelon to the Golden Bat sitting on his shoulder. And then, crunch crunch, he ate a sweet potato with his left hand. Chew chew chew. And with his free right hand, he fed Theo some churu. Meanwhile, weeing, over 1,000 poisonous bees gathered and were eating honey. The bees that initially ate the honey brought their friends along. Hey kids, how about sucking some honey from our farm? Weeing. At Sejun's question, the poisonous bees buzzed in agreement, drawing circles in the air. Then lead me to your hive. While the poisonous bees agreed, they still needed the queen's approval. Weeing. The poisonous bees led Sejun to their hive. But, you guys aren't from the same family. The poisonous bees started to scatter in different directions. Weeing. The poisonous bees began to argue, each trying to lead Sejun to their own hive. Whoa, kids, calm down. I will visit all, so relax. For Sejun, it was fortunate that he did not have to do the work multiple times. Then, Kroong. Dad, let's start from over there. Kyungi pointed to the dark eastern end. Why there? Sejun instinctively felt averse. It looked dangerous at a glance. Kroong. I feel like we can eat a lot of delicious honey if we go there. Weeing. One of the poisonous bee was very happy with Kyungi's idea. It was the poisonous bee that had a hive at the eastern end. All right, let's go. It looked dangerous, but there was no risk of being attacked by the poisonous bees, and even if they were attacked, he had Theo, Kyungi, and the Golden Bat with him. Plus, he had the bone armor, so there was no need to be afraid. Let's go to your hive first. You guys wait here and enjoy the honey. Sejun placed several plates filled with honey on the ground, so that the other poisonous bees wouldn't leave, and followed the poisonous bee with the hive at the eastern end. In the southeastern outskirts of Brasilia, the capital of Brazil. Hurry up and plant the green onions. Yes. Hunters moved quickly at Han Taejun's command. Plant them more densely there. The maximum gap is 30 cm. I'm sorry, we'll correct it right away. The original members of the Earth Defense Force reprimanded the new recruits, who quickly apologized. All the members of the Earth Defense Force gathered in Brasilia to plant sturdy blade green onions and create a defense line to prevent the spread of the locusts. The Earth Defense Force's counterattack against the locusts had begun. Chapter 155, Let's Take It Anyway. The Brazilian media were outraged and condemned Han Taejun and the hunters for their actions. It's not even fanning the flames of a burning house, but rather planting more grass to aid the reproduction of the locusts. However, crunch, the moment they saw the locusts rushing to eat the sturdy blade green onion leaves, the tone of the Brazilian media changed from anger to praise. At first, they were skeptical, but as the number of such locusts exceeded hundreds of thousands. Are you watching this? The locusts are rushing to kill themselves. Crunch, crunch. The media was busy filming the locusts, who were eagerly trying to eat the green onion leaves, unaware that their bodies were being cut by the blades, and broadcasting it. And then, we will now have an interview with Captain K, the leader of the Earth Defense Force, who saved the capital of Brazil by planting sturdy blade green onion leaves. Hello, I am Captain K of the Earth Defense Force. We are acting under the orders of Deputy Commander Yellow. Han Taejun made his debut on the broadcast with the codename Captain K. Wying. As Sejun approached the beehive, more and more poisonous bees felt a sense of familiarity and approached him. And Sejun realized why the eastern end had been dark. It was just that there were so many poisonous honey bees that it appeared dark. Is this the place? Sejun, surrounded by tens of thousands of poisonous honey bees, asked the poison honey bee that first led him to its hive. Whining, "Yes, just go straight from here." The poisonous honey bee, sitting on Sejun's palm due to the overwhelming number of other bees around, responded. After about an hour of travel with the bee's guidance, Whining, "This is our beehive." A huge mountain appeared. And then, Whining, "Enter the cave, we will take you to our queen." The poisonous honey bee guided Sejun to a cave at the base of the mountain. Inside the cave was a massive labyrinth, or should it be called a massive apartment complex. There were rooms everywhere, and inside each room, 5-10 poisonous honey bees were working or resting. Whining, "Go to the left." The poisonous honey bee effortlessly found its way in such a complex place. After about an hour of traveling inside the cave with the guidance of the poisonous honey bee, the queen of the poisonous honey bees appeared. Great queen of the wild poisonous honey bees. Whining, while the poisonous honey bee that brought Sejun and the poisonous honey bee queen were having a conversation. Great queen. Sejun observed the great queen of the poisonous honey bees. She was 3 times larger than regular queens, and her wings were more colorful. Sejun didn't know, but the great queen of the poisonous honey bees was the queen of all poisonous honey bee queens, meaning she was the supreme leader of the poisonous honey bees. Then, buying. "I'd like to taste this honey. I hear it's very delicious, right?" The great queen of the poisonous honey bees approached Sejun and spoke. It seemed that the poisonous honey bee had done a good job of promoting to its queen. "I should give a bonus later." "Yes, try it." While thinking of rewarding the poisonous honey bee that guided him later, Sejun served the honey on a small plate to the great queen of the poisonous honey bees. Slurp. Of course, the remaining honey was given to Kyungi. After eating the honey, the great queen of the poisonous honey bees, Buying, felt some instinct engraved in her long genetic memory awakened. It was the instinct from the days when the poisonous honey bees lived alongside flowers. In her mind, she began to think of ways to obtain and produce honey, royal jelly, and other products. Buying, "This is from flowers, right?" "Yes, do you know about flowers?" Since there were no flowers in the eastern region, Sejun asked the great queen of the poisonous honey bees. Buying. "Yes, I have never seen them myself, but the memories of my ancestors told me about them." "Really? Then it will be easy to talk. Do you want to suck some honey from our farm?" Sejun tried to entrap the great queen of the poisonous honey bees and her beehive as the conversation was going smoothly. However, "I would like to, but with your ability, you cannot handle all of my children and me." The great queen of the poisonous honey bees expressed her concern. The great queen of the wild poisonous honey bees decides to follow you. You cannot tame the great queen of the wild poisonous honey bees with the ability of beekeeping LV. 8. Work harder. That's right. Sejun had also confirmed it with the message. "I will send one of my daughters first." A queen honeybee came flying with 10,000 honeybees after the words of the great queen of the poisonous honey bees. The great queen of the wild poisonous honey bees had several queen bees in the hive as well. Wild queen honeybee decides to follow you. 10,000 poisonous honeybees, led by the wild queen honeybee, decide to follow you. The number of poisonous honeybees has exceeded 60,000. Beekeeping LV. 8 proficiency greatly increases. There were no separate hives, probably because they lived with the great queen of the wild poisonous honey bees. And I'd like you to plant flowers in our area too. Flowers. Asking for flowers meant it was okay to plant crops in the honeybees' territory. Moreover, Sejun could also get honey or honey jelly obtained by the honeybees, which was a win for him. "I'll plant them right away." Since it was mentioned, he decided to plant crops immediately. Buying. Really, thank you. So Sejun stepped out of the beehive with the poisonous honeybee queen. Land moving. He started planting crops using the miller's hoe. You planted 10 chestnuts, 10 cherry tomatoes, and 10 corns in the magic power-infused soil. Your job experience slightly increases due to the effect of magic seed sowing LV. 6. The probability of seeds taking roots increases due to the effect of magic seed sowing LV. 6. The growth of crops speeds up for 24 hours. Your proficiency of magic seed sowing skill LV. 6 increases slightly. Sejun planted a variety of crops like chestnuts and cherry tomatoes so that the honeybees could taste the honey of various flowers. Then, he headed to the entrance of the 99th floor of the tower with the poisonous honeybee queen and 10,000 poisonous honeybees. Golden Bat, go with the poisonous honeybees and deliver my message to Godery. Yes. You all be careful too. Buying. The poisonous honeybee queen and the poisonous honeybees, whose stomachs were full of honey, were sent by Sejun to the 83rd floor of the tower. Bees were needed on other floors of the farm to pollinate the flowers too. However, moving the beehive to another floor was a lot of work, so he hadn't been able to send the honeybees until now. But the newly tamed honeybees did not have a hive yet, so he planned to send them to the chestnut farm on the 83rd floor, build a hive there, and harvest chestnut honey. That's how Sejun expanded his beekeeping business to other floors. Swoosh! The black dragon statue on Aileen's 100th birthday commemorative fountain started to move. And then, flap flap. Sejun, where are you? Kaiser roamed the farm looking for Sejun. Kaiser had been drinking Maxiali rice wine with Artemis, the golden dragon, Brachio, the green dragon, and Kellyan, in the guise of discussing strategies for Kellyan, almost for 10 days. Then, all the alcohol is gone, I'm sorry, I should have prepared more. Artemis said with a regretful expression. It was time to break up the drinking party. Already? Kaiser spoke with a disappointed expression. The alcohol ran out just when he was getting excited. This was unacceptable. Wait a minute, I'll bring more. So Kaiser hurriedly returned to his residence and moved the black dragon statue. He aimed for the Maxiali made by Sejun. However, Sejun was at that time bidding farewell to the poisonous honeybees leaving for the 83rd floor. Sejun is not here, so I have no choice. Since Sejun was not there, Kaiser went into the brewery himself. And when he gathered 10 bottles of Maxiali. What's this? Kaiser found glass bottles separate from the Maxiali bottles. The liquid inside looked like Maxiali, but it had a slightly more yellowish color compared to Maxiali. It failed. It looked like Sejun failed while making Maxiali, but Kaiser's instinct as a drinker strongly told him he had to drink it. Let's take it anyway. If it really was a failure, he could just rinse his mouth with Maxiali. More importantly, as a drinker, he always had to enjoy taking risks. Good. With Kaiser's determination, the black dragon statue swallowed the glass bottle, and Kaiser, who gathered the bottles, hurriedly flew to Artemis's residence. Let's go for a walk, kids. Sejun, who returned after seeing off the golden bat and honeybees, walked around the farm. The green onion field, cornfield, cherry tomato field, etc., were all well-maintained thanks to the rabbits and mushroom ants. And then, a tenant farmer used magic seed sowing LV6 to plant cherry tomato seeds. The Millennium Landlord receives 5% of the reward. The Millennium Landlord's job experience slightly increases. The Millennium Landlord's magic seed sowing LV6 proficiency slightly increases. A message appeared that proved everything was going smoothly. After touring the farm, he was on his way back home. Kyungi, is there anything you want to eat for dinner? Sejun gave the decision for the dinner menu to Kyungi, who had been carrying him around. Krung krung. Dad, Kyungi wants to eat bananas and rice cakes together. At Sejun's words, Kyungi raised his left hand and said banana, and raised his right hand and said rice cake. After eating honey suratiak, honey rice cakes, a few times, he seemed to want to try mixing something else with the rice cakes. Kroong. I'm going to mix bananas and rice cakes. Kyungi waved both hands, sang a song by himself, shook his hips and danced. It seemed like he was expressing the taste of mixing bananas and rice cakes with his body. He would do well as a YouTuber, wouldn't he? Kyungi would show off his talent, and he would earn money. Sejun went into the kitchen with his pleasant imagination and started making rice cakes. A little later, Kyungi, let's eat. Kroong. It's mealtime. Kyungi, who had been playing outside by himself digging the ground so as not to disturb Sejun, hurriedly ran in response to Sejun's call. And then, nom nom nom. Kyungi, who held a piece of rice cake in each hand and alternately stuffed them into his mouth. Chairman Park, I want one more churu, meow. Slurp slurp. Perhaps stimulated by Kyungi eating, Theo increased the speed at which he ate churu. However, it is impossible for a sparrow to follow a phoenix. Kek kek kek. Theo, who tried to eat churu quickly, choked. It was the end of the one who tried to show off. Why are you trying to compete with Kyungi? Just enjoy eating. I just wanted to win, meow. But I think Chairman Park is right, meow. It's enough to enjoy the food, meow. Choo choo choo. Theo listened to Sejun's words and gave up on beating Kyungi and started eating churu at the original speed again. I'm full. It was delicious churu, meow. Kroong. That was delicious. Everyone enjoyed their dinner. Kroong. Kyungi is going to sleep. Kyungi went asleep with his mother. And then, today I have to drink a glass before going to bed. What kind of alcohol should I drink? Sejun headed for the brewery. By now, the alcohol he had prepared should be ready. Feeling adventurous, Sejun started experimenting by adding ingredients like potatoes, sweet potatoes, and corn when he began getting tired of regular makgeolli. Today's chestnut makgeolli was made possible due to his previous trials and errors. With such anticipation, he arrived at the brewery. However, all the various flavored makgeolli that Sejun made was gone. Chapter 156. It was obvious who had stolen the makgeolli from Sejun's farm. There was no need for deduction. It could only be Aileen's grandfather and alcohol lover, Kaiser. I was careless. It was a mistake to not hide the makgeolli, thinking he wouldn't show up because he had been busy lately. It was his fault for leaving the grilled fish in front of Theo, honey in front of Kyungi, and makgeolli in front of Kaiser. No, but still, he shouldn't have taken it all. I haven't even tasted it yet. There were 10 bottles of regular makgeolli, and about 50 bottles of makgeolli mixed with crops. Then, I need to get scales equivalent to 160 bottles of makgeolli. He decided to charge a threefold premium for the makgeolli mixed with crops, since it took more effort to make. As Sejun was doing the calculations in his head, Sejun was here. Flap flap. Kaiser flew quickly, calling out to Sejun. Yes. Our Sejun. Sejun was startled by Kaiser's way of addressing him. When did he change from calling him Rascal Sejun to our Sejun? As Sejun was puzzled by Kaiser's tone. Wonderful fellow, when did you make such makgeolli? Kaiser began to praise Sejun outright. A few hours earlier. Kahaha, let's drink again. The dragons continued their drinking session, with the makgeolli brought by Kaiser. Oh, there was makgeolli in the Black Tower too. Kahaha, our tower farmer made it for me. Kaiser, who believed strongly that it was made for him, even though he had stolen it without permission, served the regular makgeolli to the dragons. Slurp. Should we try it? Gulp gulp. Each dragon took a bottle of makgeolli and drank it as they chatted. HMPH, still it's not as good as our tower farmer, right? Artemis, whose pride was a bit hurt by the unexpectedly delicious makgeolli, spoke with a sentiment that he couldn't lose. What, Are you belittling the Maxiali made by our Sejun? Come out, it's a duel. Kaiser shouted, infuriated by Artemis's comment. Inside the tower, he might disregard him, but outside, disrespecting Sejun's Maxiali was equivalent to belittling him. You think I won't come out if you ask me to? Thud bang. As Kaiser and Artemis started to fight outside. Come on, drink up. Cheer up, Kellyan. Ajax will surely succeed in farming someday. Thanks, even if it's just words. Regardless of the two fighting, Brachio and Kellyan continued to drink Maxiali. Heh, good, what? It's already gone. There's more here. Kellyan and Brachio, who quickly emptied a bottle of Maxiali each, used magic to move a bottle each from what Kaiser had brought to in front of them. And then, click, open the cap, poured into the glass. Cheers, wishing for Ajax's good harvest. Clink. They clinked their glasses and drank. Then, hef huh. Oh my! Both exclaimed at the same time, because an unexpected taste came from the Maxiali. Sweet potato. Corn. Sweet potato, let's switch and try. They switched bottles and drank again. Let's try the others too. Yeah. They opened the bottles brought by Kaiser and started tasting them one sip at a time. How many flavors are there? Exactly. Sweet potato, corn, carrot, cherry tomato, peanut, watermelon, mango, banana, and even chestnut Maxiali that hadn't fully matured yet. A total of 10 different flavors of Maxiali. Furthermore, the Maxiali made with crops grown by Sejun tasted much better, and there was even a subtle sensation that it had an effect on their body. Park Sejun, this incredible guy, let's see. My dragon tooth. Kellyan praised Sejun and thought about how many dragon tooth he had left. With one dragon tooth, he thought he could get 10 bottles of each of the 10 flavored Maxialis. Sejun thought about a 3-fold premium, but Kellyan was thinking of giving a 10-fold premium. However, Park Sejun, the tower farmer of the Black Tower. Seeing Brachio's expression, Kellyan thought he might not even be able to get 10 bottles. Let's just drink for now. Gulp, gulp. As Kellyan started to drink the Maxiali, forgetting about his grandson's worries. Ah, are you going to drink it all alone? Brachio came to his senses and started drinking Maxiali again. A little later, Kerahata, Uhehata. Kaiser and Artemis entered shoulder to shoulder, their faces swollen and bruised, laughing with each other. They seemed to have bonded over a fight. Huh, what? Who drank it all? Dozens of empty bottles of Maxiali were scattered on the ground in front of them. Kellyan and Brachio had almost finished all the Maxiali while they were out. Huh, you're here. Kellyan noticed them late and spoke. Huh, you're here, is that what you say now? Try this, then you'll understand why I'm like this. Kaiser, you're lucky to have a tower farmer like Sejun. With a voice full of envy, Kellyan handed the Maxiali to Kaiser. Why is he acting like that? Gulp. Kaiser drank the Maxiali while giving Kellyan a strange look. His throat was dry from the exertion. And then, after tasting the sweet potato Maxiali, he understood Kellyan's words. Sejun made 10 new types of Maxiali. Kellyan provided additional explanation to the shocked Kaiser. What have I done? Kaiser regretted bringing the Maxiali from Sejun's brewery. He had brought this precious drink to share with the other dragons. What does it taste like? Gulp. This. Curious about Kaiser's reaction, Artemis also took a sip of the Maxiali and was shocked. It was undeniable. It was too delicious. Heh, it's not just us who think so. Let's drink quickly before they come to their senses. Ignoring the shocked Kaiser and Artemis, Kellyan and Brachio started drinking the Maxiali again. Stop drinking, I'm not giving you any more. Kaiser, regaining his senses, tried to gather the remaining Maxiali, but all that was left were 2 cups, worth at the bottom of 10 bottles that Kellyan had deliberately left. The taste of the 10 Maxialis was meant to be tasted. What is this flavor? It has a unique flavor. Hehe, this is watermelon. Kaiser smugly explained the watermelon flavor to Artemis, who was unfamiliar with it. So when Kaiser and Artemis finished tasting all 10 flavors of Macchiali, Kaiser, hand over Park Sejun to me. Brachio demanded Sejun from Kaiser. What are you talking about? Hand over the tower farmer. Don't you know that once someone becomes a tower farmer, they have to live as the tower farmer of that tower until they die? And even if that were possible, our Sejun is definitely not allowed. Kaiser responded angrily to Brachio's words. What nonsense! How dare he ask for our Sejun? I wonder if that's really the case. Brachio spoke with a reluctant expression. What? Then let's discuss it at the next meeting. Kaiser hurriedly returned to the Black Tower. He planned to ask Sejun to make more Macchiali as soon as possible. Is there anything our Sejun needs? Ah, right. I will compensate you for the alcohol I took earlier with 20 scales, and for the new Macchiali in the future, I'll give 1 scale for every 2 bottles. Oh, really? Thank you. Ah, but Kaiser, this is not the time for that. Sejun, who was happy with Kaiser's offer, remembered Aileen, who should be training hard right now. Why, what's the matter? I'll handle everything. Kaiser, eager to get Sejun to make Macchiali quickly, actively tried to solve the issue, but it was not about Sejun, it was about Aileen. Aileen is currently... Sejun explained that Theo had accidentally obtained a fragment of the Black Dragon's dragon heart, and that Aileen had gone into training to repair the dragon heart using it. What? Our Aileen has a fragment of the dragon heart. Do you think it'll be okay? Sejun asked with a worried voice. Aileen had spoken confidently, but that made him even more worried. Don't worry, for a dragon, resonating with the dragon heart is as simple as breathing. There won't be any problems. Ha ha ha, Theo, that guy, he did a great job. Kaiser, answering Sejun's question, praised Theo. Although it was a very small fragment of the dragon heart, it was still remarkable that he had managed to obtain it. A dragon heart naturally and quickly returns to nature when a dragon dies, so it cannot be saved. Kaiser had only heard that there are cases where it does not return, but Theo had brought one. The issue wasn't the Macchiali right now. Not that he couldn't drink it, but it was okay if it was delayed a bit. Since you helped the great Black Dragon clan, I, as the lord of the Pratani clan, will bestow a reward upon you with my authority. What, meow? What would you give, meow? Theo got excited at Kaiser's words. Theo was thrilled at the thought of receiving a nice gift from Kaiser and giving it to Sejun. Theo's mind equation went like this. If I give money to Park Sejun, I get Park Sejun's lap, Churu, and an extension of my vice-chairman term, meow. If I give a dagger to Park Sejun, I get Park Sejun's lap, Churu, and an extension of my vice-chairman term, meow. Theo thought of Sejun as a vending machine where the rights to Sejun's lap, Churu, and the vice-chairman term extension would come out depending on what he gave. I will specially allow you to use the title of Pratani. Meow. Theo, who could not judge whether receiving the title of Pratani was good or bad, looked at Sejun. His front paws did not react to intangible things. Sejun shook his head. What changes by adding one more title to the name? Practicality was more important than honor. It's not good, meow. I want something else, meow. Unexpected. Until 1,000 years ago everyone liked it, then I will give you my claw. Nod, nod. Okay, meow. At Sejun's nod, Theo decided to accept Kaiser's claw. Done. Meow, what is done, meow? I haven't received the claw yet, meow. Pull out your claw. Snap. When Theo pulled out the claw of his front paw, 10 black claws appeared. Kaiser had replaced Theo's claws with dragon claws. Meow. Theo looked at his changed claws with wonder. Meow, I can't give this to Chairman Park, meow. Theo was sad that he could not give the claws to Sejun. It's okay. Instead, Vice Chairman Theo has become stronger. Meow, yes, meow. I will protect Chairman Park with these claws, meows, but I'm sleepy, meow. Yeah, Kaiser, we need to go to sleep now, Sejun said, stroking Theo's head. Okay, see you in the morning. And so, Sejun and Theo went home to sleep. Have we been too inactive lately? Kaiser, who felt that the presence of the dragon clan had diminished, was lost in thought. He did not show it earlier because of his pride, but he was a bit shocked that Theo rejected the title of Pratani. Being allowed to use the title of Pratani means being treated as a black dragon inside the tower. But he rejected it. However, this was not because the presence of the dragon clan had diminished, but simply a happening caused by Sejun, who knew nothing. Snore. Gorarung. So, without even knowing that they missed a great opportunity to wield absolute power in the Black Tower, the two slept well. On the 312th day of being stranded, Theo obtained the dragon's claws. And there were 5 days left until the birthday party. Chapter 157. Brachio, what did you mean by what you said earlier? Artemis asked, puzzled by Brachio's comment about handing over the tower farmer to Kaiser after he left. It's a secret. Brachio, you've acquired one of the Creator God's tablets, haven't you? How did you? Straight to the point, no beating around the bush. Brachio, suddenly caught off guard, quickly looked at Artemis with a surprised expression. There's no need to be so surprised. I've also acquired a piece of the Creator God's tablet. Kellyan, you have one too, don't you? Yes. Kellyan casually answered Artemis's question. Ever since he saw a piece of the Creator God's tablet on the 99th floor of the Black Tower, he suspected that each tower might have a piece of the Creator God's tablet. Artemis was certain that Brachio had secured a piece of the Creator God's tablet when he demanded the tower farmer from Kaiser. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a request to Kaiser. It was clear that something was written in the Creator God's tablet. Artemis was so confident because the piece of the Creator God's tablet he had seen contained this information. Second commandment: a tower farmer can command other tower farmers from different towers. The word command is important here. Depending on the interpretation, it could mean that a single tower farmer can command all other tower farmers. Therefore, Artemis deliberately boasted about his own tower farmer for the future. It was one of his small strategies for the future. I suspect that the piece of the Creator God's tablet found in the Green Tower contains a commandment allowing one to bring tower farmers from other towers. Brachio neither confirmed nor denied. Confirming or denying it here would be equivalent to revealing the tablet's information. Let's do this. Artemis, deciding that there would be no progress in the conversation if they continued to hide information from each other, made a suggestion to Brachio and Kellyan. Let's discuss the pieces of the Creator God's tablet we know about, staking our dragon hearts. Of course, we must also swear not to tell other dragons what we hear here. All right. Agreed. Both Brachio and Kellyan accepted Artemis's proposal. Good, then I'll start. After Artemis began speaking about his tablet's content, Brachio and Kellyan also shared theirs. Fifth commandment: if a tower farmer desires, they can become a tower farmer of another tower. Sixth commandment: tower farmers can exchange crops through contracts. They both knew about the fifth and sixth commandments. Out of the 9 pieces, 3 pieces were entirely about tower farmers, and they were the second, fifth, and sixth commandments. So, it was reasonable to think that at least the second to sixth commandments were all about tower farmers. And assuming that there is one piece of the Creator God's tablet in each of the 8 towers, there could be a total of 8 commandments. Then, out of 8, at least 5 are about tower farmers. It's clear now. The Creator God definitely wants to accomplish something through the tower farmers. Artemis said with a voice full of conviction. Let's discuss this again at the next meeting. The dragons, their heads filled with thoughts about the content of the Creator God's tablet, returned to their dwellings. Morning of the 313th day of being stranded. Ja. As Sejun woke up. Gorarung. Kairorung. The sounds of Theo and Iona snoring could be heard. Iona, who came at dawn, wrapped herself around Theo's tail and slept soundly. A little later, Pew hut. Look at this, Iona, meow. Kaiser gave it to me, meow. I am now the mighty subordinate of the great black dragon and the deadly dragon-clawed yellow cat, Theo Park, meow. Ching. Theo excitedly bragged about the new claws he received from Kaiser. However, Kaiwat, Vice Chairman Theo, please give me just one of those claws. Meow. Theo soon realized that showing his dragon claws to Iona was a big mistake. Showing dragon claws to a wizard. No, meow, it hurts, meow. Theo quickly put the claws away and ran off. Kaiwat, I will pull it out without hurting you. Iona chased after him. I don't want to, meow. Theo ran fast, but Kaiwat. He couldn't shake off Iona, who was chasing him using flight magic. And Theo, who was fleeing, returned to Sejun's knee, who was preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Come to think of it, he was invincible when he was on Sejun's knee. Chairman Park, resolve it, meow. Theo, feeling invincible, confidently exclaimed. What do you want to resolve? Both of you come and sit here. All right, meow. Kaiwat, yes. Sejun made the two, who were running around frantically since the morning, sit down and hurriedly prepared breakfast. Soon, it was time for Kyungi to barge in. Krung. I'm hungry. Bang bang. Kyungi entered, patting its stomach to show that it was empty. Kyungi is here, meow. Sit down quickly, meow. Theo pointed to the seat next to him. Krung. Good morning, big bro. Good morning, Sister Hyona. Kyungi greeted the two, sitting on either side of him. Kaiwat, good morning, Kyungi. As they exchanged greetings. Okay, here is your breakfast. Sejun started placing food in front of each of them. I will eat well, meow. Theo deliciously ate the grilled fish that was cooked to a golden brown. Krung. Dad, Kyungi will also eat well. Kyungi started drinking the honey water, made with a 5:5 ratio of honey and water, and the glazed chestnuts after gulping down a bowl of thick honey water in one shot. The glazed chestnuts required a lot of effort. First, the outer shell had to be peeled, leaving the inner shell. Then they were boiled several times to remove the astringent taste. Afterward, they were rinsed one by one to remove impurities. Finally, they were boiled again in water with honey and sugar. With the help of the hedgehogs on the 83rd floor, Sejun, who had many tasks at hand, managed everything. Krung. It's delicious. Kyungi ate a quantity that could be eaten in hundreds of bites. And then, Kaiwat. Crunch. Iona took out roasted peanuts from her pocket and diligently chewed on them for breakfast. Squeak. Squeal. Finally, rabbits came in for breakfast, after feeding them. Delicious. Sejun started his breakfast with the glazed chestnuts. I have to go work now. After eating breakfast, Sejun headed to the brewery. He had a lot of work to do as he had to brew macchiali for the birthday party and the order from Kaiser. Can I finish everything today, huh? A bean pod is open. As Sejun, who was worried about the work he had to do today, walked towards the brewery, he noticed a bean pod full of beans in the 5-colored bean field. Originally, he had planted just 2 5-colored beans, but after continuous harvesting and planting, the number of colorful bean trees increased to 50. However, since the first harvest, there were no beans like the sturdy stamina red bean that increased stats by 100%. The first harvest was extremely lucky. The chances of harvesting beans that increased stats by 100% were very low. Let's harvest some different colored beans today. Pop. Talking to himself, Sejun picked and opened the bean pod. You have obtained 4 5-colored beans. You have obtained an agility green bean. Your proficiency in harvesting LV6 has slightly increased. You have gained 700 experience points. Oh, agility green bean. Just by the name, it was a bean that increased agility stats by 100%. Sejun happily took the green bean and hurriedly planted the 4 or 5 colored beans. He then headed to the brewery and began making makgeolli. After about 2 hours of preparing the rice flour dough and taking a short break, "Sir Sejun, we are here." "Okay, okay." Hegel and the wolves appeared with 5 banana monkeys from the 77th floor. As the amount of makgeolli to be brewed increased, Sejun gave special instructions to Hegel to bring the monkeys from the 77th floor who had experience brewing alcohol. So, Hegel and the black wolves brought the monkeys. "Okay, okay." As soon as the banana monkeys saw Sejun, they bowed respectfully. "Thank you for coming all the way here. Come in, I'll explain." Sejun took the monkeys into the brewery and started explaining as they came to help with his work. "Okay. That is. Okay. Yes, it's similar." The monkeys, who had been brewing alcohol for several years, asked Sejun a few questions and quickly understood the process of making makgeolli. And then, "Okay. Oh, is that so?" From then on, Sejun was actually learning from the banana monkeys how to brew alcohol. Thanks to that, the makgeolli to be made this time was expected to taste better. As Sejun was diligently brewing makgeolli, "Puhu-hut, Kyungi, look at this." Snap! Theo proudly showed off his dragon claw to Kyungi while looking around to see if Iona was there. Normally, Theo wouldn't leave Sejun's lap, but to brag to Kyungi, he had to get off Sejun's lap. The reason was because Sejun didn't allow the young Kyungi to enter the brewery. So, Theo was proudly bragging about his claws to Kyungi in front of the brewery. "Krung krung. Big brother, that's cool. Kyungi also wants to have dragon claws." Kyungi, who always wants what his big brother has, was once again envious of Theo's dragon claws. "Puhu-hut, this is not something anyone can have, meow. You need to have a dragon heart, meow." "Krung. What is a dragon heart?" "Meow, you don't know what a dragon heart is, meow. Listen carefully, meow." Theo explained that the dragon heart is the heart of a dragon and then hurriedly went inside the brewery. He had bragged enough, so it was time to reclaim his spot on the lap. "G-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra." Huh. Sejun was puzzled by the sound coming from his stomach, because usually Kyungi would come looking for food, saying he was hungry before Sejun's stomach growled. So Sejun hadn't heard the gurgling sound from his stomach in a while. "Guys, let's eat lunch first." Sejun spoke to the monkeys mixing rice batter with yeast. Since the remaining work was to ferment the mixture in a pot, it was okay to eat first. After speaking to the banana monkeys, Sejun quickly headed to the kitchen. If his stomach was making noise, it meant that Kyungi's stomach was probably rumbling like thunder. He had to prepare lunch quickly before Kyungi, who would turn into a ferocious beast when hungry, came looking for food. However, Kyungi did not show up even when Sejun had prepared the lunch. "Is he taking a nap somewhere? Guys, can you find Kyungi for me?" Sejun asked the honeybees to look for Kyungi. "Buzz. He's not on the farm." Kyungi was not on the farm. Where did Kyungi go? Just as Sejun's worry started to grow. "It's my fault, meow. I told Kyungi that he needed to get a dragon heart, so he must have gone to catch a dragon, meow." "What?" Sejun was shocked at Theo's words. Even though Kyungi was strong, he was not strong enough to fight a dragon. Just as everyone was worried about Kyungi. "Kaiwat, Kaiwat, Kaiwat. Sejun, are you looking for Kyungi?" "Kororong." Yona, who had returned from the wizard tower, brought Kyungi, who was sleeping, floating with her anti-gravity magic. "Yona, where did you find Kyungi?" "I heard a loud snore and went to check. He was sleeping near the fire ant nest in the north, you know." "What, the northern region, why?" "Then, sniff, sniff." Kyungi rubbed his nose and opened his eyes. He seemed to have fallen asleep due to exhaustion from hunger. And then, "Krung, I smell something delicious." As expected, the first thing Kyungi did after waking up was to look for food. Kyungi hurriedly tried to run to where the delicious smell was coming from. However, Kyungi, why did you go north? Sejun asked Kyungi with a stern expression. Krung, I went to train my claws. Kyungi answered timidly, intimidated by Sejun's stern expression. Claw training. Krung Krung. Yes, I will train my claws and have even cooler claws than Big Brother's dragon claws. Since there was no way to get a dragon heart, Kyungi had thought of another way. You don't need to do that, Kyungi. Daddy will make your claws cool for you. Even Yona had a hard time with the Fire Ant Queen. The north was dangerous, even if Kyungi was strong. Krung. Really? Yes, just trust Daddy. Let's go eat first. Sejun quickly convinced Kyungi and went to eat. How can I make his claws cool? While eating, Sejun thought hard. He was the kind of person who would say something first and then think of a plan later. Vice Chairman Theo, you are demoted to Representative Theo for one day. Meow. Of course, he punished Theo for creating this situation. Chapter 158, Draw on Mine too, Meow. It's done. After hearing about Artemis, Brachio, and the Creator God's tablet pieces, Kellyan had returned home and connected his soul to the white dragon statue again. Flap flap. You back, you're late, aren't you? Kaiser spoke in a gruff voice, looking at the white dragon statue flying towards him. Kaiser, are you still sulking? What sulking? Do I look sulky to you, you Machiavelli thief? Kaiser got angry at Kellyan's words. What Machiavelli thief? You brought it to drink. When did I say to drink it all? Drink it all, I left some. Is leaving only a sip considered as leaving some? Normally, they would have been physically fighting, but they only argued with words. Because if the statue were destroyed during the fight, it would become difficult to obtain the crops and dishes made by Sejun from then on. And if, by any chance, Sejun gets hurt or dies due to the aftermath of their fight, that would be equivalent to killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. They were being very careful in their own way. While the two dragons were fighting, Kaiser Kellyan, please help me. Sejun, who had made wonderful claws for Kyungi, ran straight to the two dragons as soon as he saw them and asked for help. He had mobilized Pink Fur and even the Minotaur King to sprout the seedlings of the elixir, Cherry Tomato, but ultimately failed. As a last resort, Sejun asked the two dragons for help. Flap flap. Sejun, you don't need to take help from Kellyan. What do you need? Kaiser quickly flew to Sejun's side and shouted. And then, when will the Machiavelli be ready? He quietly asked when the Machiavelli would be ready, casting a barrier so Kellyan couldn't hear. It will take about 4 or 5 days to mature. Haha, really, let's go, I will solve everything. Kaiser tried to solve everything by himself. However, planting the seed of the elixir, Cherry Tomato imbued with powerful magic power failed. The environment is not strong enough in magic power for the elixir, Cherry Tomato imbued with powerful magic power to take root. Planting the seed of the elixir, Cherry Tomato imbued with powerful magic power failed. Swoosh! The seed turned into powder and disappeared along with the message. Kaiser, it seems difficult to do it alone. The output of the magic stone is insufficient. Kaiser spoke in a resentful voice. If he could use the magic power of his main body, he could use 100 times more magic power, but the capacity of the magic stone attached to the black dragon statue was insufficient. I have to step in. Kellyan, who had been watching from behind, coughed and spoke. Normally, he would have enjoyed watching Kaiser struggle, but he couldn't afford to do that today. Because of the elixir, Cherry Tomato imbued with powerful magic power seed that Sejun had taken out. A tomato that only grows in places with strong magic power. It felt like a crop that existed for his grandson, Ajax. This is an opportunity. With this crop, even Ajax can farm. That's why Kellyan didn't enjoy watching Kaiser struggle and quickly helped Sejun. He wanted to quickly confirm whether the elixir, Cherry Tomato, could really withstand Ajax's magic power. Wung! Kellyan poured all his magic power into the ground filled with Kaiser's magic power. It was slightly more than the magic power that Ajax usually emits. If it can withstand this much magic power, it can grow well even in the White Tower. Now try planting it. Yes. Sejun planted the elixir, cherry tomato seed once again in the ground filled with magic power of Kaiser and Kellyan. And then, elixir, cherry tomato, imbued with powerful magic power has been planted. Elixir, cherry tomato, imbued with powerful magic power successfully planted. Due to the effect of magic seed sowing LV. 6. The growth speed of crops will be faster for 24 hours. He successfully planted the elixir-grade tomato. It's done. Sejun finally succeeded in planting the elixir-grade tomato and cheered. Then, the magic power of the land where the elixir, cherry tomato imbued with powerful magic power is planted, is dispersing. The effect of magic seed sowing LV. 6's growth speed increase is reduced to 20 hours. If the magic power of the land drops below a certain level, the elixir, cherry tomato imbued with powerful magic power will wither. The magic power infused into the ground dispersed, and a message appeared, indicating that they needed to infuse more magic. The two dragon statues needed to maintain a certain amount of magic power infused into the ground. Since the two dragons had exhausted all their magic power, Sejun initially infused some of his magic power, but the magical energy of the ground has fallen below a certain level. Elixir, cherry tomato imbued with powerful magic power has withered. Sejun's magic was not enough. The elixir, cherry tomato imbued with powerful magic power tragically died. It's difficult. Sejun was disappointed. And, hesitantly. On the contrary, Kellyan smiled. A crop that needs a continuous supply of strong magic power. This is a crop for Ajax. It was a perfect condition. Great. Kellyan unintentionally revealed his true feelings. What did you just say? Sejun, who became irritable after the elixir-grade cherry tomato died, unintentionally raised his voice and asked Kellyan. It was already upsetting that the crop died, and now he was saying great. No, I mean it's not good. Kellyan quickly made an excuse and began thinking about how to steal the seeds. If he had the seeds of the elixir, cherry tomato imbued with powerful magic power, even Ajax could farm. Grandson, just wait a little longer. Thinking about his grandson, who would be working hard with dirt on his hands, Kellyan gained determination. And, suspicious. Kaiser looked at Kellyan with suspicion. 99th floor of the White Tower. Bang, you all, it's been 3 seconds since break time ended and you're still sitting. Hurry up and work. It's very comfortable these days, huh? Wanna see hell? Huh? Sorry. At the shout of the white-haired boy, the monsters trembled in fear and hurriedly started scattering seeds from the sacks. The seeds scattered by the monsters were collected from each floor of the White Tower. If they can't handle my magic, I'll win with quantity. Ajax, realizing the seeds couldn't endure his magic power and were dying, decided to plant more to distribute his energy. You're not doing it right over there. Contrary to Kellyan's worries, Ajax, who was leaning back and only giving orders to the monsters, had hands that were completely clean without a speck of dust. Kroong kroong. Big bro, look at my claws, aren't they cool? Kyungi showed off his claws, which Sejun had made look cool, to Theo. Each of Kyungi's claws had pictures of magnificent and great beings drawn on them. And, I'm envious, meow. Theo looked at Kyungi's claws with envy. Having been demoted from vice-chairman to representative, and now seeing Kyungi's cool claws, Theo's ears drooped from the 2 consecutive depressing events. Kroong kroong. Cheer up, big bro. Someday big bro will also have cool claws like mine. Kyungi consoled Theo like that. The situation had turned around 3 hours earlier. It's tough, very tough. While eating, Sejun was contemplating how to make Kyungi's claws look cool, but he couldn't think of anything no matter how hard he tried. While lost in thought, will this work? A good idea came to mind. Kyungi, enlarge yourself. After finishing his meal, Sejun ordered Kyungi, who was dozing off with his back pressed against Sejun's back, to become giant. Kroong. Okay. Kyungi, who was still half asleep, transformed into a giant. And, Representative Theo, show me your claws. Sejun held Theo's front paw and spoke. Why am I Representative Theo, meow? You were demoted. Meow, okay, meow. Snap. When Theo reluctantly pulled out his dragon claws with a sullen expression. Swoosh. Sejun began drawing on Kyungi's claws using Theo's dragon claw. What Sejun had in mind was nail art. Keikyurung. While Kyungi sat and fell asleep again, Sejun, holding Theo, wrote Park Kyungi on Kyungi's right thumb with Theo's dragon claws. Now Sejun felt like Kyungi was his own child, so he engraved his last name as well. After engraving the name on the right thumb, Sejun began diligently drawing pictures on the other 9 claws. 2 hours later. Kyungi, wake up. Sejun completed his masterpiece and woke Kyungi up. Kroong. Is it done? Kyungi hurriedly checked his claws. I engraved your name on the right thumb. Park Kyungi, how is it? Kroong Kroong. It's good, my name is now Park Kyungi. Kyungi was happy looking at his own thumb. Although he didn't say it, Kyungi was envious of Theo's full name, Theo Park. Kroong. But what are these? Kyungi asked, looking at the 9 incomprehensible pictures drawn on his claws. I'm also curious, meow. Huh? Why can't he recognize them? What Sejun drew on Kyungi's claws were Sejun, Theo, Flamey, Black Rabbit, Kyungi, Golden Bat, Choo Choo, Iona, and Hegel and Elka. To be honest, he admitted that Hegel and Elka, being bothersome to draw separately, might look like conjoined twins because he drew only one body for them, but the rest should be recognizable. However, seeing Kyungi's reaction, Sejun felt he might get into trouble if he told the truth. These represent the 10 heavens. So he hastily made something up on the spot. But why are there only 9 drawings if it's the 10 heavens, meow? Theo unexpectedly asked sharply. It was a mistake Sejun made in haste. However, well, I haven't seen the last one of the 10 heavens. I will draw the last one when I see it. Sejun calmly responded and overcame the crisis. Then, Kroong. But Daddy, what are the 10 heavens? Another crisis approached. The 10 heavens refers to the 10 strongest beings in the world. Of course, excluding dragons. People say the more you lie, the better you get at it. Soon, he might become a top-tier scam artist. But he still had a conscience, so he excluded dragons. Dragons were completely different beings who were at an entirely different level. It was impossible to compare. Of course, Kyungi might one day be able to go head-to-head with dragons. Kroong. The 10 heavens are amazing. Fortunately, Kyungi completely bought Sejun's story. Kyungi liked the pictures drawn on his claws. And then, Chairman Park, draw on mine too, meow. Theo begged to have the 10 heavens drawn on his claws as well, seeing that his work had gained a fan. Okay. Excited Sejun grabbed Theo's right front paw and started drawing on one of the claw of his left front paw. However, squeak squeak, it won't work. Dragon claw were too hard to engrave on. Meow, I am jealous, meow. Even with his formidable dragon claws, Theo was still envious of Kyungi's claws. Just then, while Theo was looking enviously at Kyungi's claws. What are you doing? Meow. Thud. Sejun, who had returned after failing at planting the elixir-grade cherry tomatoes, grabbed Theo and placed him on his lap. And then, Kroong. Kyungi, who couldn't climb onto Sejun's lap because of his weight, looked enviously at Theo. Hut, that's right, meow. I have Chairman Park's lap, meow. Chairman Park, I want churu, meow. Theo, feeling better, asked Sejun for churu. And then, slurp slurp. Gulp. Theo, who seemed to have been stressed today due to his demotion and claws, ate the delicious churu and fell asleep. Kekwethiha. Kyungi, who was eating honey and licking his claws next to him, took the churu that Theo left while eating and put it in his mouth. Day 313 of being stranded. Only 4 days were left until the birthday party. Chapter 159. As the Earth Defense Force, we have planted sturdy blade green onion leaves to stop the spread of the locusts, so we urge the citizens of Brasilia, please do not panic and follow the government's directives. After debuting on broadcast as Captain K of the Earth Defense Force, Han Tae-jun reassured people by doing interviews with other broadcasting stations. Just when Brasilia was successfully fending off the locust invasion with sturdy blade green onion leaves. What's the use of only protecting the capital? What about our farms? Farm owners from other parts of Brazil, worried about locusts invading their farms, started to protest and demand the planting of sturdy blade green onion leaves on their farms as well. However, we refuse. Han Tae-jun firmly refused. The situation was already critical, with all the sturdy blade green onion leaves supplied from the tower barely enough to defend Brasilia. There was no room to spare any for other places. And soon, the initially planted sturdy blade green onion leaves in Brasilia would need to be replaced. Because, unlike in the tower, the sturdy blade green onion leaves planted on Earth gradually lose their rigidity over time. Dividing the sturdy blade green onion leaves and replanting was not an option. Ultimately, the only way to accommodate the farmer's request was to increase the quantity of sturdy blade green onion leaves transported from the tower. But that's easier said than done. While Han Tae-jun was deep in thought, "Master, there's a big trouble." Cha Si-hyuk, Han Tae-jun's first disciple, rushed over. What happened? The youngest ones transporting the sturdy blade green onion leaves from the tower were ambushed by another hunter, and the green onion leaves were stolen. What? How are the young ones? Well, Jang Rin lost his right arm resisting until the end. Damn it, Jang Rin, that foolish guy. Han Tae-jun gritted his teeth in rage. He had spent a lot of time with the Black Wolf gang, getting to know their backgrounds and why they resorted to stealing from other hunters. They all came from an orphanage in rural China and stole to fund its operations. Having grown up witnessing thievery when they became hunters, they naturally resorted to theft. However, living with Han Tae-jun made the Black Wolf gang realize there was a different way to live, and their mindset started to change. And then, "Master Tae-jun, please take us as your disciples. We want to live righteously." The Black Wolf gang, now desiring a righteous life, asked to become Han Tae-jun's disciples, believing he could lead them on the right path. "If you want to be my disciples, you must first atone for your past misdeeds." Acknowledging past wrongs was a prerequisite to living righteously. After much consideration, Han Tae-jun made them apologize to all the hunters they had harmed and arranged compensation as a condition for accepting them as disciples. "We are truly sorry. We will definitely compensate for the damages." Han Tae-jun personally guaranteed the monetary compensation, and they gradually repaid it, leading to the withdrawal of all reports against the Black Wolf gang. With the chairman of the Korean Awakened Association personally vouching for them, the hunters accepted the agreement, and only after all complaints were withdrawn did Han Tae-jun accept the Black Wolf gang as his disciples. Since then, the Black Wolf gang, now Han Tae-jun's disciples, worked diligently and tried hard to lead an earnest and responsible life. And after joining the Earth Defense Force, they took pride in helping others and gave their best. However, now someone dared to harm them who were trying to live righteously. "Gather everyone, we're going into the tower immediately." "Yes." Han Tae-jun entrusted the sturdy blade green onion leaves farm to Lucilia, the deputy head of the Earth Defense Force and the guild master of the Wizard Guild, and led his disciples into the tower. Sejun opened his eyes. "Did I wake up a bit early?" There was no clock, but instinctively he felt he woke up earlier than usual. "Meowwoowa." As Sejun got up, he placed the sleeping Theo on his lap. Swoosh! And marked another day on the bedroom wall, starting the 314th morning of being stranded. First, I need some coffee. Sejun couldn't just let the morning leisure time pass by. Soon, Kyungi would barge in asking for food, and from then on, things would only get hectic. Sejun tore open a coffee packet, poured it into a tumbler. Snap! And he created a flame with a snap of his fingers, heated the water in the kettle with his finger, and then poured a bit of hot water into the tumbler to dissolve the coffee. Then, ice cubes. Plop, plop. Sejun formed small ice cubes and dropped them in the tumbler, and in no time, a cup of iced Americano was ready. Heh, I think I'd make a killing if I opened a cafe. Praising himself, Sejun sat at the table in front of his house, looking out at the farm and planning the day's tasks. First, right after breakfast, I need to harvest the pineapples. The last time he harvested the pineapples, he harvested them unripe for the golden bat, but now the pineapples were finally ripe. Lastly, I should discuss about the fireworks for the finale of the birthday party with Yona in the evening. Just as Sejun was about to finish organizing his to-dos for the day. Krung, I'm hungry. Kyungi appeared. Is it already time for breakfast, meow Tilda? Thea woke up at the official mealtime alarm of the farm. Kaiwa Tilda, I'll sleep a bit more. Yona, who had been working late and only returned at dawn, wrapped herself tightly with Theo's tail and went back to sleep. Sit down and wait for a moment. Sejun hurriedly prepared breakfast. Squeak. Ook. The rabbits and monkeys also entered the kitchen and sat down, waiting for their meal. At first, the monkeys didn't know what to do when Sejun, who they thought was a god, prepared food for them, but they quickly adapted. Eat up. Sejun put the breakfast he had prepared on the table. The menu was similar every day. A soup with sweet potato and locust meat and steamed potatoes, but the animals ate it without complaints. After eating breakfast, they started harvesting pineapples. However, out of 11 pineapples to be harvested, 2 were screaming pineapples. Are you ready? I'm ready, meow. Krung. I'm ready. In response to Sejun's question, Theo and Kyungi answered and took their positions. Theo hung on the back of Sejun's head and covered Sejun's ears with his front paws, and Kyungi stood in front of Sejun. Then I'll cut it. Sejun shouted a battle cry and cut the pineapple with his dagger. You have harvested a screaming pineapple. Your job experience increases very slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV6 has increased slightly. Due to the effect of proficiency increase LV1, your proficiency in harvesting LV6 increases by an additional 5%. You have gained 30 experience points. And then, Kyungi hold it. Krung. Following Sejun's command, Kyungi held the pineapple to prevent it from splitting. However, it remained intact. More than 10 minutes passed, but there was no scream. Rather, it was correct to say that Kyungi suppressed the pineapple's scream with his strength. Kyungi, slowly release your grip. Krung krung. I got it, Daddy, it's dangerous, so it would be good if you stay back. Kyungi said, worried about Sejun. Really got it. At Kyungi's words, Sejun quickly stepped back. Although he often didn't listen to his parents, he always heeded his child's words. So Kyungi completely removed one hand from the pineapple, and some time passed, the pineapple still didn't split open. Is it all right? Sejun carefully approached Kyungi from behind and picked up the pineapple to examine it. Suppressed screaming pineapple. Right arrow, a pineapple grown in the tower, full of nutrients and delicious. Right arrow, when harvested, the stored mana explodes, splitting in the middle and releasing a mana-filled shockwave along with a scream-like sound. However, it did not explode due to being suppressed by strong force. Right arrow, by suppressing the mana explosion once, the purity of the mana inside the pineapple increases, greatly increasing the power of the explosion. Right arrow, it explodes if the pineapple is damaged or if magic power is applied to it. Right arrow grower, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Right arrow expiration date, 60 days. Right arrow grade C. Oh, this is nice. The screaming pineapple turned into a portable pineapple bomb. Guys, let's go pick the next pineapple. Got it, meow. Krung. Got it. After obtaining 2 pineapple bombs, Sejun replanted the pineapple crowns and said, "Let's head north," and hastily changed his plans. Since he got the bombs, it was obvious he had to use them. Sejun planned to use the pineapple bombs on the fire ant nest. Kyungi enlarge. Krung. Sejun rode on the enlarged Kyungi and moved north. Thump. Crack. Sejun carefully approached the fire ant nest, as if infiltrating the enemy's camp in a spy game. And then, Krung. Don't get caught. Kyungi, who was eagerly following behind. Then, Keek. He spotted a fire ant worker, doing reconnaissance about 100 m away. Hide. Sejun quickly ducked his head. Just Chairman Park hides, it's enough, meow. Krung. We are small so they won't see us. Since there were many rocks, the small Theo and Kyungi were not visible. Right. Feeling a bit awkward, Sejun quietly moved again. And then, roll roll. Sejun, who arrived at the entrance of the fire ant nest without any guards, sent a rolling pineapple. The fire ants would first attack the suspicious pineapple, and in the process, the pineapple would explode. Having deployed 1 pineapple bomb, Sejun then moved to find another entrance, but he came across a hole much larger than the other ant entrances. This must be a huge colony of fire ants, Sejun said excitedly as he tossed the pineapple bomb into the hole, and then climbed to the top floor of the wizard tower with permission from Yona. And then, create thundercloud. Rainfall. While it rained, he waited for the explosion. If it didn't explode, he planned to detonate it with thunder. A moment later, quang, the first dropped pineapple bomb exploded, causing a huge explosion, and a 200 m diameter of land caved in. You have killed a fire ant warrior with the explosion of the suppressed screaming pineapple. You have gained 50,000 experience points. You have killed a fire ant worker with the explosion of the suppressed screaming pineapple. You have gained 1,000 experience points. Messages appearing at the same time. There were fewer messages than expected. Rumble. Due to the rain that Sejun had summoned, a second collapse occurred, and the ground collapsed once again. Kiek. As the fire ants escaping from the collapsed nest began to run around outside. Throw thunder. Sejun did not miss the opportunity and began his next attack. The ground was wet enough to increase the damage. You have leveled up. You have gained 1 bonus stat. Thus, after using Throw Thunder 3 times, he leveled up to level 56. Now he had a lot of magic power, so his legs no longer wobbled after casting Throw Thunder 3 times. Then, quang, another explosion occurred. It was the explosion of the second pineapple bomb. And then, the Black Earth Dragon, which was sleeping, woke up due to the explosion of the suppressed screaming pineapple. The Black Earth Dragon is furious at the one who awakened it. It seems that wasn't a fire ant nest. Huh? As Sejun was taken aback. Quang. With the message, a giant monster resembling a worm broke through the ground and turned its head towards the wizard tower where Sejun was. Chapter 160. Lucky. Sejun smiled as he saw the gigantic worm, no, the Black Earth Dragon. Who would have thought that a monster resembling an earthworm would appear on its own? Now, whether the field is 330,000 square meters or 3.3 million square meters, it doesn't matter. If the Black Earth Dragon passes by and swallows and spits out the soil several times, it's ready. There's a reason why earthworm farming is popular on Earth. But do earthworms only eat soil? Because of its size, Sejun wondered if he needed to feed the Black Earth Dragon something additional. While Sejun was daydreaming, his fantasies as if he had already tamed the Black Earth Dragon. "That's a huge worm, meow." Theo rudely pointed at the Black Earth Dragon with his claw and shouted, "How dare you! Just for awakening me, the Earth Dragon, you deserve death, and to insult me by calling me an earthworm. I shall not let you die easily." This further fueled the anger of the Black Earth Dragon, who was already sending a murderous glare at Sejun for awakening it. However, "Humph, so what, meow? I am more amazing, meow, because I am a subordinate of the great Black Dragon." Theo was introducing himself without any hesitation to the Black Earth Dragon. "But what? The great Black Dragon took someone like you as a subordinate? I can't believe it. If you are really a subordinate of the great Black Dragon, show me the proof." The Black Earth Dragon interrupted Theo and demanded proof of the Black Dragon. "Pew hut, here it is, meow. Kyungi, show yours too, meow." Theo, as if he was waiting for it, confidently showed the sole of his hind paw. "Krung, here it is." Kyungi also gave a thumbs up in response to Theo's words. "Swoosh." Sejun slowly rolled up his sleeve, flexing his left arm to show his dragon tattoo. And then, "How can this be?" The Black Earth Dragon was greatly shocked after seeing the Black Dragon tattoo on Sejun's arm. It wasn't just because the tattoo was large and clearly visible. He had time to give such a lowly being his mark. The anger was due to the neglect of not visiting him for centuries despite serving the Black Tower for over 1,000 years, yet giving a weak being like Sejun a mark. Bang! Eventually, the Black Earth Dragon lost its rationality and lost its temper, showing the proof had a counterproductive effect. And then, the Black Earth Dragon, having lost its rationality, swung its massive tail towards Sejun. However, Kaiwo, how dare you damage my tower?" Yona, who had been sleeping on Theo's tail, opened her eyes as she felt the enormous force approaching her tower. She opened her eyes in annoyance. The tower had just been repaired from Kyungi's damage. "Stones at my command strike the enemy," flame stone missile. When Iona cast her spell towards the approaching tail of the Black Earth Dragon, thousands of stones on the ground levitated and with rapid acceleration flew towards it. Quagwagwang! With a loud explosion, a giant shockwave and fragments of stone rushed towards the tower. However, Wung! As if to prove it was no ordinary wizard tower, the barrier installed on the tower blocked the shockwave and the stones. Meanwhile, "Gravity, follow my command and strengthen the force. Gravity control." Yona cast another spell, applying tenfold gravity on the Black Earth Dragon. Kugyugung! With Yona's spell, the Black Earth Dragon was buried into the ground. The power of magic. Just as Yona was about to deliver the final blow. "Yona, don't kill it, let's go down, guys." Sejun hurriedly stopped Yona, who was about to kill the worker needed for earthworm farming. He hurriedly took the animals and descended the wizard tower. He was planning to coax the Black Earth Dragon, who was angry because of the proof, into working on the farm by giving it the proof. As soon as they arrived at the place where the Black Earth Dragon was buried, Q-woo! The Black Earth Dragon, overcoming 10 times the gravity, raised its head from the ground. "Wait, listen to me, I have the proof." When Sejun tried to persuade the Black Earth Dragon to work together on the farm by touching its body. "You have made contact with the Black Earth Dragon, the ally of the Black Tower farmer. A quest has been generated. Job quest: tame the angry Black Earth Dragon, the one who swallows the land that has been neglected for hundreds of years, and give it a name. Success is guaranteed as long as you tame it by any means necessary. Reward: Black Earth Dragon, the one who swallows the land, will help with farming." A quest was triggered. Of an ally. "What, a weakling like you is a tower farmer?" While making contact with Sejun, the Black Earth Dragon seemed extremely surprised, perhaps realizing Sejun's identity. It was because Sejun was too weak. There had never been such a weak tower farmer in the history of the Black Tower. It was a bad sign, a sign of the tower's downfall. Yeah, so let's work together. Already used to being looked down upon for being weak, Sejun continued to speak to the Black Earth Dragon. Then, I cannot acknowledge a lowly tower farmer like you. Kugagung. The Black Earth Dragon attacked Sejun using its tail, which was hidden underground. Krung. Daddy's in danger. Kyungi enlarged to block the attack. Kwaying. Kruo. The dragon tattoo on Kyungi's thumb roared, protecting Kyungi before disappearing. Krung. Although the item description said it would activate when life was in danger, it actually activated automatically when it was attacked with a certain level of force. The dragon skin was activated. Krung Krung. Kyungi's tattoo is gone. Kyungi is angry. Kwang Kwagwagwing. As the tattoo disappeared, the angry Kyungi started to beat the Black Earth Dragon with its front paws. Krung. The worm is bad. The Black Earth Dragon groaned in pain from Kyungi's attack. Due to the 10 times gravity, it was hard to move its body properly, making it impossible to counterattack. Kyungi, stop hitting it. I'll engrave the tattoo again. When Kyungi sufficiently battered the Black Earth Dragon's body, Sejun stopped Kyungi. And then, here, using Kaiser scales, Sejun engraved the dragon tattoo on Kyungi's thumb again. Krung Krung. Thank you, Daddy. Kyungi's tattoo has returned. While Kyungi was happily celebrating the return of its tattoo. How could you? How about it, want one? Follow me and I'll engrave one for you. Seeing Sejun engrave the tattoo on Kyungi again, the Black Earth Dragon, who was in shock, was tempted by Sejun showing dozens of Kaiser scales. However, weak. It felt disdain at the sight of him, cowering behind strong monsters. Don't want to, then there's no choice. Kyungi hit the worm some more. Krung Krung. Got it, the bad worm needs more beating. Wait. Krung. Kwaying. Before the Black Earth Dragon could finish speaking, Kyungi's uppercut struck. After being hit for a while, will you follow or not? Sejun asked again. The Black Earth Dragon didn't answer. It didn't want to be hit, but it wasn't ready to submit yet. I even thought of a cool name for you, aren't you curious? Sejun gave the Black Earth Dragon a reason it couldn't refuse. My name. Yes, how about Toryong, Chinese letter? In Earth, Ryong is the same as Yang dragon. Ryong means dragon, and the fact that Toryong means earthworm was a secret. However, the Black Earth Dragon, who didn't know that, was deeply moved by Sejun's words. He even included a word equivalent to dragon in the name. The quest has been completed. As a reward for completing the quest, the Black Earth Dragon, Toryong, will help with the farm work. Although there was no answer, the quest completion message indicated that the Black Earth Dragon, now Toryong, decided to join Sejun's farm. Very well, Master, I will follow you. Welcome, Toryong, Sejun said as he engraved the tattoo on Toryong's head. A dragon tattoo the size of a bean was carved on its head. Welcome, youngest brother Toryong Meow. I am the eldest brother Theo Park Meow. Krung Krung. Welcome to the new youngest brother. I am the fourth brother Park Kyungi. Youngest. You're the last to join, so you're the youngest Meow. Krung Krung. That's right, Toryong is the sixth. The second is Flamey, the third is Black Rabbit. Theo recited the family tree. Having the mark and a name was nice, but getting 5 older brothers and a sister out of nowhere, the Earth Dragon wasn't sure whether this was a good or bad thing. However, still, I'm over 2,000 years old. Being called the youngest felt a bit unjust. 20th floor of the tower. Is everyone here? Yes, Han Taejun asked, looking at the disciples who had joined halfway. Then, Jang Rin, who was missing an arm, caught Han Taejun's eye. Jang Rin, why are you here? Go back to the hospital. Han Taejun shouted. It was too dangerous for him to come here with a body that hadn't recovered yet. Master, I must avenge my brothers. And without me, who remembers the enemy's appearance and characteristics, tracking will be difficult. Please let me go with you. Han Tijun looked silently into Jiang Rin's eyes. He could force him to go back, but the determination in his eyes was unwavering. Fine, but don't stray too far from me. Yes, thank you, Master. First, tell me what you remember. The attackers who ambushed us were wearing black masks and black clothes. Is there nothing else? It was difficult to pursue them based on that alone, because it was a common outfit for robbers. There was one peculiar thing. Peculiar? Yes, I briefly saw a tattoo of a snake with 3 heads in a circle on one of their necks. A snake with 3 heads. Yes, did I see it wrong? Hem. Han Tijun let out a sigh instead of answering. A snake tattoo with 3 heads. He did not know the exact name of the organization. It was just informally called the 3-Head Society because they had a circular tattoo of a snake with 3 heads. The origin of the organization was known to be made up of hunters from the Mafia, Yakuza, and Triads. If Jiang Rin saw correctly, this was very dangerous. It was not something that could be resolved with just his and his disciples' strength. But if they continued to target the sturdy blade green onions, it was also unavoidable. For now, let's move to the 40th floor of the tower. Yes. Han Tijun took his disciples and moved to the 40th floor. He was planning to ask for help from the cat merchants. They returned to the farm riding Toryang. When they arrived at the farm, it was already bedtime. Then I will start working right away. As soon as they arrived at the farm, Toryang shrank to the size of a finger and jumped right into the field. All right, take care. Krung. Kyungi is going to sleep. Yes, good night, Kyungi. Sejun said goodbye to Kyungi and headed home. It had been a tiring day. Kurur. Gorarung. Kairorung. Sejun, Theo, and Iona fell asleep as soon as they lay down. Then, thud thud. Without any noise, the door opened, and a white figure entered the room without hesitation. However, no one noticed the intruder as there was no sound. The being that entered Sejun's bedroom began to rummage through Sejun's body, searching for something. And then, found it. When it took out a leather pouch with seeds from Sejun's pocket and tried to swallow a seed. Snap! Theo's front paw blocked the white being's mouth. What meow? Kellyan, are you trying to steal meow? No. Theo asked, looking at Kellyan. What? Kellyan looked back at Theo, as if unable to understand why Theo could see him. Kellyan had been waiting for the right moment when Kaiser left to steal the seed of elixir, cherry tomato imbued with powerful magic power that Sejun had. And when Kaiser left, he cast not only soundproof magic inside the bedroom, but also perception distortion and all other magic to avoid detection. Yet he was still caught by Theo. Chairman Park, there is a thief, meow. Theo loudly alerted about the thief's intrusion. It seemed the day was not over yet.